Greetings and salutations, everyone. How are you doing today? Are you happy? You should be. You should be overjoyed, actually. Everything considered. Hollywood is on fire. The actors are starting to starve. This is a good day, by and large.
You know, the first writer's strike, when was that? Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago? I remember so many of my shows on hiatus. Stargate was running then. And basically, like, a lot of the stuff I watched was interrupted. Now, I didn't even notice there's a writer's strike. I don't think I'm going to watch anything that these people made in the last 10 years in the future. Like, I can't name a single shit that I will watch when I'm in my 50s and I'll be like, yeah, you know what? That show that came out during 2020, I want to watch it again.
Well, the last strike was in 2007, according to Wikipedia. So it's been a while since this happened. But back in 2007, I mean, I was actually watching stuff on the television, like they were entertainment shows. Whereas now, I mean, what the hell is this interrupting? The new season of Superman and not at all Lois Lane?
You know what's interesting? It's interrupting late night comedians. Like, apparently,
That's true.
yeah. Like, these individuals can't even make their own fucking jokes, and they're supposed to be like filled with prestige and stuff.
Prestige.
Yeah.
Sujad sent us a super chat before we started, saying, I didn't realize that was Tanya. She looks like someone hired a phrenologist to create the most racist caricature of a black woman imaginable. Yes, we will get to that. And the Lord Comes as Spartan has been a mum for 6 months. Thank you very much, sir. I will make you a custom little rat brick, by the way. I'll be starting handing those out to long-term members and donators. And he says, another month under $5. Almost broke my toe and my foot hurts. How goes, boys? Well, stop breaking your toes then. That's not good for you. What's interesting, though, is, okay, so last time the writer's strike happened, it lasted for quite some time. It lasted for 100 days. The current one has been going on for, is it 2 months now, or is it 1?
I think it's like 1.5, so it's like 40, maybe 50 days.
Yeah, and the Hollywood execs, you saw the rumor that came out a while ago, didn't you? Where they said they were going to starve them out?
No.
Ooh, you didn't see that, did you?
No.
Well, let's see if I can find it. So, there we go. Right, here we are. I'll send this one over to you. There you go. In the thingy bob. I'll just send you directly.
That's fucking hilarious. A cruel but necessary evil. Well, why is it an evil though?
It's not. It's a beneficial thing. It's an advantageous thing.
No, seriously. Like, if you say on Twitter anything negative about the writers, you're going to get like at least 5 commies on your ass. But like, here's the thing. First of all, they make more money than me. All right, like they talk about the money they get after the movie. What is it called? Like something with R, rescindiary pay or some shit like that. I don't
yes,
know
like it's money. It's basically kind of sort of pseudo royalties.
Yeah, but they make like 30,000 to 30,000
Fire is the answer.
a month.
Oh yeah, they're well paid, but they're not well paid enough in their own estimation.
Right.
Residuals, yes, thank you.
Residuals, yeah. So, like, these motherfuckers, which are more paid than me, right? They call you racist for not liking a fucking mermaid. They have nothing but disdain and disgust for you. And they make it really painfully obvious on Twitter. And why would I care? Like, seriously, like, now they want my empathy as well? Like, they ruined all the IPs that I like. They shat on literally everything that I enjoyed as a child. Now they want my empathy too.
That's the interesting thing, isn't it? Because 20 years ago, hell, 10 years ago, actors expected our sympathies and our simping, straight up, and we would provide it. Like, if Arnold Schwarzenegger, at the height of his career, went like, I'm not being paid well, everyone would be like, oh my god, Arnold.
Oh my god, no, no.
Yes, whereas now, everyone's just like, fuck these champagne socialist shits.
Like, they're having the black fist on their plaques. Like, they're supporting one of the most controversial ideologies. And they're expecting me to be like... By the way, if you read their signs, they can't write for shit. Like, you ask ChatGPT to write signs for them, it will write something more empathetic. And with more soul that they have on their picket signs.
Probably. But the Hollywood's plan, according to insiders, so, pinch of salt and all that, was to drag out until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. So they were planning to drag this out into November, making it, I believe, the longest writer's strike in record if that happens. And this is the thing. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if Hollywood was like, oh yeah, no, we're going to starve these shits out, there would be public outcry. Now people are like, yes.
Well, I'll tell you something else. Like the writing quality is so fucking bad that they can literally get writers from the street to write.
Yes, that is the problem. Again, like, they're not producing anything with like. So there's a picture of The Witcher in the background here. Did you see their marketing?
God, no.
Well, have you been paying any attention to the Witcher thing? Like, Henry Cavill is leaving The Witcher, right?
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Yes, so they ran a marketing campaign where they said he's still in it.
Did they?
Yes.
Isn't that illegal?
Well, no, because he is still in it. He's still in it for this season and the second half of the season, but he's gone after that. And the season bumbled bad. And so they ran advertisement campaigns saying Henry Cavill is still in this season. That tells you how desperate they are and how badly the Cavill Brexit is going to affect them. Like, he was the only person keeping that show afloat. It sure as hell wasn't the writing.
Yeah. I mean, there's many insiders saying that he would just basically tell those writers no. It's like, no, this is not how it's done. This is not the book.
Let's see. I'm trying to find...
Wait, like, almost everything in the last 5 years is a sequel or a prequel, which gets to tell you exactly how good these writers are. It's like, they can't even write their own fucking universes.
They can't. I mean, hell, when was the last, like, big, successful, original story?
Avatar? Okay, no, hold on. That's a sequel. Cobra Kai. I mean, okay, that's a sequel.
I mean, sorta, but yeah, that is a sequel.
I mean, at least that one builds its own lore, right?
Yeah, like, Cobra Kai is actually pretty good, like, for what it is.
I actually like the first season of Sabrina the Witch.
That's ancient, though.
No, they made a new one.
Yeah, but I mean, Sabrina the Witch is like, I remember that talking cat from cartoons in my day.
No, they made a new one.
Why?
Like, they made the new one. I don't fucking know, but it was okay. I mean, I kind of like it. Was cheesy, so it wasn't that bad.
Because Sabrina, I remember Sabrina. She had the incredibly dead-eyed animatronic cat, which was really impressive for the time, but looks hideous today.
I would think like there must be something that came out which is original. All right.
I don't know about that. But I sent you here.
Has Been Hotel? Does Has Been Hotel count?
No, because that's a individual thing. But you can see there's a light show portrayed on the side of a building saying, yes, he's still Geralt in Season 3, The Witcher. And then the N of power beneath it.
That's reeks of desperation.
Oh, yes. It really, really does.
Yeah.
They went all out of this. They put it on all kinds of like buildings and landmarks and shit. They projected it on the cliffs of Dover.
I'm still curious, like, even with Geralt, I didn't like The Witcher. I watched season 1, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And I stopped watching it.
Yeah, season 3 was mediocre, at best. The only reason why I bothered watching it was because of Cavill.
And there were no attractive women in it. Like, I swear to God, I'm
Heresy's
making
the
the point
question.
now not to
Fire
watch
is the
shows
answer.
without attractive women. It's like, why? Just because, out of spite, literally. I
Well,
don't have to
Yennefer
justify
isn't
myself.
that bad. Yennefer of Winterborg, she was okay.
No, she was no.
What?
Service
No.
guaranteed.
Just
service.
watch Orville if you want to watch waifus, alright? Like, that one does have waifus in it.
I know, Yennefer was perfectly satisfactory, but Trish Merigold was an abomination. In fact, most people didn't even recognize her. She is the black woman.
Yes, I know.
Because,
And
you
there's
know,
no explanation for it. There's literally not. It's like, well, she just happens to be black there. I'm like, okay, so did people have airplanes and teleportation devices in that world? Because it's supposed to be like a medieval Europe. How the fuck is it the melting pot?
let's see. Here you go, chat. Trish Merigold, as seen in the actual game, very attractive, little bit tomboyish almost, clearly red hair, you know. And then in the Netflix show, she's a random black woman now. Her hair is black, of course. And she doesn't look anything like the actual character. Brilliant.
It's actually interesting because you're supposed to have like Geralt at least be tempted by her, but
Yes. Whereas in reality, there's no competition. Like, Yennefer is a million miles ahead. It's not even funny.
I will tell you. Yeah, like, let me tell you what my wife said, right? Like, she doesn't know politics, doesn't know any of this thing. She was watching Wheel of Time, I believe, on Netflix, right? And she's asking, like, why are all these ugly middle-aged women having these 10 out of 10 husbandos salivating over them? It makes no sense.
Well,
And
because they have power and money, I guess.
Well, I looked at it as well, and it's like, the men are perfectly chiseled, you know, like perfect jaws, very competitive, very competent, like literally the perfect men. And the women are like below average, like in their 30s, 40s. And it's not even, it's like, oh, wait, their personality. No, their personality was shit as well.
Yes.
And yeah, it doesn't explain. It's kind of like the same with He-Man and Tila. You know, like, what does Tila have to offer to the Prince of Edirne? Like, she's rotten as a personality, she looks ugly, like, there's literally nothing that she brings to the table, and yet we're supposed to believe that He-Man, which could have any woman whatsoever, is salivating over this chick.
Would I also like it? I sent you the poster for Season 2. Have a look at that, and tell me, who is the main character of this television show?
Which, Wheel of Time?
Yeah.
The one in the middle, right?
No.
Really?
Yes. That's what's so beautiful with this goddamn poster. The chick in the middle, she's the mentat person, the mentor. The main character is the guy in the furthest back to the top right. That's Randall Thor, the Dragon Reborn. He is the main character.
I will tell you something that I noticed, and it pisses off people on Twitter. Do you know that men and women engage with IPs differently? Like,
Do they?
if you have a little boy, let's say he's like 5 or 6, and you give him a Batman toy, he's going to try to speak like Batman. He's going to pretend he's Batman. He's basically going to keep the IP in its original sense. You know, he may say that he's like Batman's sidekick or something, but it's going to play with the Batman action figure as if it's Batman. Now, you give Batman to a little girl, you know, same age, 5 or 6. He's going to take Batman, put it in the dollhouse, and pretend that, you know, he's the husband of Barbie, goes to work, you know, does like a normal job, comes home, you know, gets into a fight with Barbie, that type of shit. Like, what I'm trying to say is that when you look at how kids play, right, like the boys usually engage with the IP as it's supposed to, while the women, they make their IP their own. Like, they take Batman out of what he is supposed to be and transform it into something they like. And I think, like, maybe this is what we're noticing with all these diversity and inclusion initiatives, right? Like, they're giving the IPs to these people who, instead of, like, keeping true to what it's supposed to be, they just want to make it their own.
That makes utter, absolute sense. Because, again, look at this poster. You have the woman character, and she is in the middle. She's the most important one. You've got the 2 side bitches on the left-hand side. One of which is supposed to be dead, by the way. They were supposed to die in the first season. Then you have another couple of side characters on the right, and then you have the woman's bodyguard to the top left, and finally you've got the main character, the Dragon Reborn, the messiah of this universe, the single most powerful sorcerer in the entire world in the background. That is such a thing, because again, and the worst part is, in the final episode of season 1, they took Randall Thor's big battle away from him. He was supposed to annihilate an entire army of orcs, basically, by himself, because he is the Dragon Reborn. He is the biggest badass in the entire world. And they gave that scene to the 2 women and 3 unnamed female side characters.
It's an obsession, really. I genuinely do not understand it. I mean, you got powerful women in anime, but they never overshadow the main character, do they?
No, because they're not supposed to.
And you can have a team, like the girl boss. What about the girl team player? When can we have that?
Well, see, this is the thing. Again, it is the difference between having a character that supplements a group and a character that must become everything. And that is what Wheel of Time is. They must refocus the entire show around their preferred character because this is their interpretation. Like this... Again, like in anime, this doesn't happen. Nami from One Piece, for example. She never becomes the show. She's simply one of the Straw Hat Pirates. She never seeks to outshine Luffy. In fact, in every time they run into the end boss of every goddamn season, each one of them has their own fight, usually against their own henchmen. They have their own plot lines. Whereas in modern-day entertainment, you can't have that. Everything must be about the main character. In fact... we'll have a look at the Oppenheimer reviews later, where one of the main critiques of a movie called Oppenheimer, about Oppenheimer, is that it doesn't give enough screen time to the women in his life.
Do you know what's interesting? The anime ReZero, have you seen it?
Yes.
Literally every single woman in that anime is stronger than the main character.
Yes.
Every fucking one. Some of them even richer and with more political influence, right? But they don't overshadow the main character, and the main character doesn't overshadow them. Like you got that little Oni chica with the big mace and shit, and she's spinning it around and destroying everything, right? Like the main character is just nothing compared to her. Like she can kill him with just one of those things, and yet he doesn't overshadow her. She doesn't overshadow him. When it comes to the story, they're playing as a team.
Mm-hmm. But that is far too complicated, and that is, again, why the Hollywood executives are more than happy to starve out the writers. Because here's the thing. Because the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild are both striking now. And they are still living in the old paradigm, where they're like, you have to have us, Hollywood. You cannot exist without it. We are... irreplaceable. No matter how shit we are, no matter how much we ask for, no matter how much we socialize, we unionize, we ruin your business model, you must have us. And Hollywood is looking at them right now going, nah, you are costing us too much. Starve.
By the way, can you name any of the actors on this poster?
Let me see. The Wheel of Time one?
Yeah. The actual name of the actor, without looking it up.
I mean, I should be able to name the chick in the middle because she's like some big shot actor, apparently. Something W. I don't know. The others are just no names.
This is the problem. Dude, you go back into the 90s, and I was like, Van Damme, Jackie Chan, Arnold. Like, I would be able to, name all the fuckers. And now I'm looking at the posters, and this is Iron Man. Okay, I don't even know the name of the guy. I know that he went vegan, so he's like Iron Deficiency Man now. Did you see the picture? But, anyway, I can't name any of these actors.
No.
They're striking, so fucking what? Replace them.
I have lost.
It would be the same.
Well, that's the thing too, because nobody knows these people anymore. Like we don't have celebrities like in the good old, like the celebrities people can name today are like in their 40s at least. Like Chris Hemsworth, the guy who played Thor, he's 40 years old. Like
Did they
where
have to go? They had to get the geriatrics Indiana Jones, right? Like they had
he's
to get
80, Harrison Ford.
Yeah, they had to get him from. He wanted to go in the grave, and they went, nope, wait, one more movie, one more, just one more, and that's why Indiana Jones. Yeah, not to mention that's why Indiana Jones, one of the main reasons it bombed. Like, who the fuck wants to see an 80-year-old, flacking with his whip and shit? Like, that's elderly abuse.
We don't have big name actors anymore. Like, because nobody cares about these people. They're not interesting. Like, Henry Cavill is the closest I can think of a current year, like, big namer. And he is being violated by the industry. Like, they hate him.
I can think of a couple. So there's, like, that chica that played in, what's it called? Hunger Games?
Hunger Games?
The one with the perfect asshole. Yeah. What's her name? Yeah, like Hunger Games, it had the pretty lady with the bow.
No. I think I watched the first movie at some point.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is the problem too. It's like, oh, what's the big recent thing? Like Hunger Games. Like, oh, was that a thing? Yeah, I like a chick with a bow. Oh. Okay. Like, these people are shit at their jobs. And that is why they will be replaced by sentient typewriters. Literally. Because again, could an AI write a script as bad as The Witcher Season 3? Yeah, I think it could.
By the way, do you remember that in Rings of Power Plus Privilege when the Numerians are complaining that the elves are taking their jobs and that the elves don't sleep and the elves live forever and they can master any craft?
Yep.
And they're treated like they're Trump supporters and they're evil, right?
Yes.
Aren't the writers now bitching about the AI because the AI doesn't sleep and it's taking their jobs?
It is.
Aren't they training the population to hate people that are like the writers?
It is.
Like, literally. The writers have trained people to hate the writers.
And again, they're just not very good. And, okay, so there was the Brian Cox, another really old actor that is sort of recognizable. He's talking from the British perspective here, because this seems like it's probably going to spread to Britain as well, because Britain, too, has basically its own pseudo-variants of the Writers and the Actors Guild, hiccups, or in America. And he said some very interesting things, like, we are at the thin end of a really horrible wedge. Addressing the London Equality Rally this afternoon on striking actors. Because a lot of this has to do, in reality, with good old-fashioned diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because a lot of the people who are currently bombing series after series, movie after movie, are diversity hires. And it isn't that the industry is blind to this. Like, Hollywood doesn't look at this and go like, that's weird. All the diversity hires are failing. I wonder why. They know why. It's just been very unpopular to say it for a while.
Well, the question is, like, how much are they... So this is something that I learned. An independent guy needs the audience to make money. A business doesn't necessarily, because they can get ESG funds and they can get money through other means, tax write-offs and shit like that. So, like, how much money are they actually losing versus how much they're making?
Well, the issue is that the ESG funds are drying up really quickly right now. That's the big problem. For the simple reason that it, too, needs to start earning money. Like, money is getting more and more difficult to come by. Like, we're probably about 2 or 3 years away from another, like, economic bubble crash, and the industries are bracing for that.
I didn't know that. Like, why do you think it's 2 or 3 years? Like, what do you think will happen?
Well, the economic trends seems to indicate this. Like, America's been printing money like mad. That's bad. So they've been setting up their own inflation. And then suddenly the federal bank just recently stopped printing money and increased what's the term? Interest rates. And this is happening all over the world right now. Norway has increased its interest rate to, like, I think 3% or something, and it's been at 0 for, like, years. These are all indicators that money is starting to become scarce in free circulation again, which means that investment money is going to start drying up. And since we have built our entire industries now on loans, all of those loans are going to come due. And without additional investment money, a lot of companies are going to start collapsing. This is why Disney... have you seen Disney starting to look for buyers for their television channels?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is another little interesting one here. So, about a week ago, Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, dropped a bit of a bombshell when he was suddenly talking about, I don't think television is as core to our business anymore. Really now. And then he made a second statement trying to calm concerns by basically saying, yeah, television channels, they're so shiny, aren't they? They're so great. Maybe somebody else would like to own a television channel. And that is essentially putting something like a third of Disney on sale, unofficially. And this is probably due to the fact that Disney has lost something like $900 million in the last year or two on movie flops. Enormous big box office failures. So in other words, Disney is right now looking at a nearly $1 billion hole in their income, right? They owe $1 billion. And they can't earn it all in, to the point that they're looking at their assets and they're going sell. That means that Disney has run out of money.
It's very interesting because apparently attacking the customer doesn't work. You know, this is what I always is saying. It's not the wokeness that's the problem, which is like, it adds to it. But it's when people say that they don't like the movie, they're getting attacked. And the gaslighting. It's like, oh no, it's a couple of trolls that don't like it. Actually, the movie is perfect. You know, you're not racist. You may as well burn a cross because you don't like the mermaid.
Service guarantees citizenship.
But no, this is absolutely a very great indication that the money is finally becoming scarce again. And a lot of companies that have been, as you say, living off ESG money, because it's been easier to get investment money than it has to been to sell things to the customers, they don't have any cash. Like, Disney doesn't have $1 billion in the bank just laying around. It's in assets, it's in lots, it's in studios, it's in buildings, etc., etc. It's in, actual value.
Can they even make, like, something original? Like, what's the last original thing Disney made? Tangled?
I don't know. Actually, there's
Frozen.
another...
Frozen is actually... Yeah, Frozen.
Fire is the answer.
There was another
Buzz
one.
Lightyear? No, that's... I think like there's one that failed really bad. It was like with a homosexual kid or some shit. Or was that Pixar?
So, you, as a child, no doubt watched Cartoon Networks, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, because Cartoon Networks it was the big thing back then. Everyone
SWAT
watched
Cats.
Cartoon Network. Oh, SWAT Cats.
The Radicals father.
The old school Batman, and Batman Beyond, Johnny Bravo. God, Cartoon Network had so much good shit.
Johnny Quest.
Yes.
Dun,
There was so many shows back then that had just amazing intros without deserving it. Like Gummy Bears had a fantastic intro. Like Gummy Bears.
I didn't have it in Romania. I don't know.
It was so goddamn good. Cartoon Network had to close its main office recently. They are now being rolled into a different division of Warner Brothers. So they're being downsized. Their office is cut, and they're being now rolled into whatever other departments that are still around.
Didn't they have like a very progressive show with like slaves build this country?
Yes, Cartoon Network has been on the hard progressive track for quite a while, and it's killed them. Like, Cartoon Network is done. Like, it's no longer a studio. It's the office on aisle 7 of Warner Brothers.
Do you think that it's because parents wouldn't let their kids watch it. It's like they saw slaves built this car. All right, well, little Jimmy, it's time to go outside and play.
Well, I think it's because their current programming just can't compete anymore. Because they used to have a little bit for everything. That's the thing. They used to have like stuff for really young children, all the way up to like young teens, basically. Everything from Tom and Jerry, a complete classic, to very new shows at the time, like Cow and Chicken was cutting edge of animation when it first started coming out, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Ed, Ed and Eddie, or Dexter's Laboratory.
Mama had the chicken, Mama had the cow. Dad was proud. He didn't care how.
Didn't care how. They had so much, whereas now it's just Cal Arts SJW shit, and people aren't interested.
I think like Steven Universe being successful ruined the entire generation of cartoon.
Yeah, no, unironically, it probably did. Like everything's that now.
Because they were like, oh shit, this is easy to produce. It appeals with the masses. I mean, why can't we have more?
Yep. I'm actually insulted that they included Ben 10 in this one here, because Ben 10 was actually fairly good. But yeah, no,
honestly,
Cartoon
I didn't
Network
like
is,
Cartoon Network because like the like even what you said, Dexter Laboratory and shit. Like when I was a kid, it bothered me because going from Biker Mice of Mars, seeing the animation of Dragon Ball and all that, and seeing how lazy Cartoon Network was with their fucking cow and chicken animations, it made me squeal.
Yeah, like, because there was a period there where we had actually like
really good,
dark shit. Because we had what Japan
the
still has today.
Centurions.
We had stuff made for kids, but still had the sensibility to appeal to adults at the same time. Whereas now we just
I never understood. Yeah. Like I never
shit.
understood this shit. It's like, oh, it's made for kids. It's basically like them giving up and admitting it's shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, okay, when I was a kid, I was watching the Centurions, SWAT Cats, Pirates of Darkwater. Like those were good shows that I would watch even now and enjoy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
SWAT Cat was great.
SWAT Cats was fucking amazing. It had 2 seasons.
It's just tragic. And the thing is, it had 2 seasons because it was competing with a million other shows that were just as good. Meanwhile, now, like, the most heinous garbage in the world gets several seasons. Like, He-Man Revelation is working on, like, a 2nd season. Like, ugh.
Didn't he die? I didn't even watch what happened. Like, he got stabbed by Skeletor, right?
They killed his ass twice, so I don't know how they're gonna get back from this one. Honestly.
Is it going to become like Kenny from South Park?
I don't even know.
Like the joke character.
Like he dead. He dead twice. He was resurrected and then deaded again. Like He-Man gone, bro.
Oh my god, they killed the Prince of India. You bastard.
Indeed. There was another quote here too saying, what was it? This is not an industry that is thriving, it is an industry on its knees. This said the chick who played female Captain America in like 1 episode or something.
Female Captain? That's another thing. You know, like superheroes now aren't like on brand. They're just a title to be passed around.
Yes, they are. And that, it misses the point. Like, people want to watch Batman because it's Batman. Simple as. Like, they don't really care about other Batman. Like, just same with Captain America. People don't care about the new Captain America, the black dude. I don't even remember his name now. The dude who was Falcon is now Captain America.
The Falcon, yeah, I don't fucking know.
Nobody cares because it's not Captain
That's
America.
That's the problem, yeah. It's not Captain America.
Same with Superman as well. Like, see, people just want Superman to be Superman, and they keep refusing to make him Superman.
Did you see what they did in the comics? Like, his parents, like, one of his parents is an abusive father, and he's black.
Of course they did.
Oh, did you notice that almost every black guy in progressive shows is, like, demasculinated?
Yep.
Like, they pump him full of soy and estrogen and give him a bow tie.
Now, it's also, this was a funny article headline as well. the studios thought they could handle a strike. They might end up sparking a
Service
revolution.
guarantees citizenship.
Do you think, V, that the actors of today have the social capital to start a revolution?
I don't think like even like when people like them would start like revolution. What? It's just it's entertainment. It's not food. It's not like an essential thing.
No. And again, that's the beautiful part of it. Like, it's not an essential thing. Not even their jobs are essential anymore. The AI can probably start replacing actors within months.
Oh, about that. ChatGPT 4 apparently can't even solve basic math problems because they lobotomized it.
They have hurt that thing heavily, but
They have heard it, yeah. Like, I made a video explaining, but like, the more safety they pump into an AI, the more retarded it becomes.
Yep, which is absolutely true. Now, that's the thing, though. They're going to do that to the public AIs because they don't want you to have it. But you can bet your ass that the studios are working on their own AIs.
That's my conclusion as well from the video. It's like a lot of people are cheering this and they're happy because it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm a writer and the AI is competing with me. So now that it's broken. No, because like the corporation will have the AI. You won't have it, though.
Yep.
Like you could have used it as a tool in your writing. You could have, you know, not allow it to replace you, but use it like it's supposed to be used. And no, you're not going to. Like, it's only the rich people that will have actual AI.
Citizenship.
Yep, it will be the companies. The race. I did a video on this literally yesterday, where Google has announced that they are launching an AI tool called Genesis.
Fire is the answer.
And it is aimed at news organizations to scrape websites for news. And that's the thing.
I mean,
like, Google is going to have an AI. You know, Netflix is going to have an AI.
Well, eventually there's going to be a company that doesn't give a fuck about AI safety, and that's going to just BTFO all the others. But this is why they're basically whining about AI safety, because they know, right? The thing that scares them the most is that you're going to have your own AI on your phone or laptop, and it's going to be offline only. And you're going to have privacy, and it's not going to have any fucking safety in it. And that scares the living shit out of them.
Yep. It's, you know what's going to happen? Did you ever watch the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But it sounds interesting.
Moneyball is actually a very interesting movie. It's a sports movie, but don't hold that against it. Where there's a guy who's playing baseball, and he's like, oh, well, we're getting our asses punched everywhere. Let's try this new system. So he tries a mathematical equation for baseball, which is basically like, okay, how many points can you score? How quickly, with what players and what tactics, right? And so he just maths this out in an Excel spreadsheet. And everyone's like, you're crazy. It's all about, it's feelings, it's emotion, you know? Baseball is emotion. Turns out he was fucking right, and they started winning like mad, but everyone was like, this'll never work. Like, you need emotions to do this. Nah, turns out, if you can feed a system with the necessary data to predict success, it absolutely can. And frankly, okay, here's the thing. Can an AI make Lord of the Rings? I'm not sure.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, yeah.
But can an AI make the Rings of Power?
Plus privilege. Yes.
Yes. And hell, it can probably even make... Like, can an AI make Terminator, the first movie? Probably not. Can it make Terminator 2? Maybe.
Terminator 1, like, wasn't really that deep in storyline. Like, it had the interesting premise, and most of the cool shit is the action and the acting. But story-wise, it's not really that deep, if you think about it.
Neither is 2, if you think about it, but it was the way it was presented and the way it was executed, and the fact that Terminator 2
the special effects,
had a genuine twist.
Like, Terminator 2 actually did have a good story compared to 1. I think like Terminator 2 was actually better.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't know. I think it's like one of those few movies where the sequel is better than the initial.
Oh yeah, Terminator 2 was definitely better. But again, you can easily identify the reasons why this was good. You've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, the big beefcake Austrian's like, being a scary monster thing. He is unstoppable. They have to run from him. Everything's a desperate fight. He is an overwhelming force. And he's this cool monster from the future. And there's big guns and explosions. Could you teach an AI to write like that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, sure, you're still going to need testers. You're going to basically have to go like AI. Write Terminator 1,000 times.
I have lost.
And then you need to have the underpaid interns read through 1,000 scripts and go like, this one's good.
The problem with the AI, right, when it comes to writing like long scripts, is that it doesn't have enough memory, so it forgets what it wrote. Yep. And it's kind of like with the technology it's available now, it's very difficult to actually do it. What you can do though is like if you have a scene in mind, you can tinker that scene. You know, like get it to write it differently, to make it more emotional. Like you can do that.
Mm-hmm. And there's only a question of time until people make an AI specifically for this.
Yeah.
And, you know, the actors are replaceable, as are the writers. And it's not going to be long until they are actually going to be out of a job. And the thing is, too, you can make the moral argument, right? Okay, we need them. Like, they are our heroes, blah, 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 blah. Except they're not anymore. These are the people that was lambasting us months ago for being like, bigots, you must go watch this movie. If you don't watch The Woman King, you're a bigot who hates black people. Why the fuck should I care if this person loses his house?
So interesting because, you know, like, you can't shame people into buying something, right? Like, for example, you can shame people into saying something, or you can shame people if they bought something. But shaming people if they don't want to buy it, that just doesn't work, right? So, like, for example, if someone buys a MAGA hat, yeah, they can bully that person. You know, if they see you buying, like, something they don't like, they can attack you for it. You're playing Hogwarts or whatever the fuck. But if you don't want to buy something, they can't do jack shit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And again, these people have forgotten what it means to be an entertainer. They believe that they are somehow above us, separate from us, superior to us, rather than
the
simply
church.
being dancing monkeys.
Yes, they are now the church.
Yep, absolutely. The word celebrity has gone to their
Service guarantees
heads.
citizenship.
The thing is, like, they also have competition with Twitch and other, you know, TikTok celebrities and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't exist back in the 90s.
Absolutely. It's also that it was a lot easier for them to maintain the masquerade back then. It was a lot like, you know how they say never meet your heroes? Well, now that every single actor has a Twitter profile, it's a lot easier to meet those heroes.
And they all have the same opinions and ideas, and they all hate the sound of freedom.
Yep, and they all disappoint you.
Why do they hate the sound of freedom, Arch?
I don't know. It must have something to do with child trafficking.
Yeah, but like you
Service
think that
guarantees
everyone
citizenship.
is like, yeah, child trafficking bad.
No.
I mean,
no.
no, definitely not. There's the actors that are like, actually, this movie shouldn't be allowed. And it's like, why?
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm all for child labor in certain circumstances, but we shouldn't import them.
And ironically, like there has been a leftist that made the argument for it, and he said that there was a country where it was banned, like a country that was developing, and they banned child labor, and they end up with child prostitution. So no, like seriously, like this is something that happened. So like the person was like, no, do not ban it again, because right, like if you have a developing country, basically like it has to do it. Like even Europe did it in medieval times, right? Like child labor was normal back then. But like once the country finished developing and it's like it's in a normal state, then child labor simply goes away because it's not needed. So it goes away naturally, right? But if you outlaw it when the country is in development stage, then you have families that literally can't feed their kids. It's very interesting.
There's the pro-child labor argument, and I stand by it 100%.
It's a very cynical argument, you know. It's lack of empathy and compassion. I get it. But realistically speaking, like this is what happens. Like if someone can't feed their children, like literally can't feed them, not like making up the excuse. Like there is absolutely no food. Then usually what they end up having is like they're selling their children. If you look at the America in the Great Depression, there's still pictures on Google with the woman that's like kids for sale.
There you go. The children yearn for the mines, says chat, yes.
The children here for the fuck.
Well, you know, Timmy, what would you rather do? Swing a pickaxe or get picked?
Honestly, though, like when you look at European laws, the first anti-child labor law was chimney sweepers. Like they banned it for children. But what's interesting is that in the factory, children could work, and they were actually sent to go under machinery in order to clean it up. Sometimes while the machinery was running.
Listen, the children had small and delicate fingers.
Yes.
I have lost.
Now, for a slightly different topic.
Mortal Kombat.
Let's we're gonna get through some super chats first because there's a lot of super chats there. People want to take their chance of dunking on the actors, and I understand. So on the Lich says, now that everything must be re-mentioned for the current day politics, does Tanya work at Waffle House? No, I think Tanya is a professional actor now. Oh god, the Tanya thing. We will get to that. Part of me thinks that it might not even be political. Part of me thinks that the person who makes the model today is just so thoroughly shit at his job that they just can't make attractive females anymore. Like, it's beyond their capabilities.
Wait, Tanya is actually modeled after someone?
I don't know, I'm presuming so. Oh god, she is wild. She's flat as a washboard too, because, of course.
Yeah. There's so much I
Marksman
can talk about it.
Of 117B says, hello, Bunkle Arch. Insult the Romanian, please. V, your voice is weird?
It is.
Well, I tried.
I don't like my... Do you know, like, a lot of people say, oh, V, you uploaded this video and there's this editing error. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but, like, I'm not listening to my own videos because I hate my voice. So fucking cringe, isn't it?
Well, it's a natural reaction. Every human being listens to their own voice and cringes. That is because your ears are, of course, on the side of your head, meaning that whenever you hear yourself, you sound deeper than you are in real life.
Holy shit, I'm even more squeaky than... Oh, God.
Yes, that's true. That is why everyone reacts weirdly to hearing their own voice for the first time. It's like, that's not me. Yes, I'm afraid it is.
It's interesting. Without technology, you would never be able to hear your own voice.
That's true. God must have intended us not to.
You could hear your echo, though, I guess.
TZ Rock says, let them burn, sung to the tune of Let It Snow. Yes, indeed. Again, I love the fact that we've arrived at the point where the Hollywood studios can say openly we're going to starve out the actors, and the reaction of normal people isn't, oh, that's terrible, but rather, let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Germ70 says, writers are like brain bugs. They are afraid. They are indeed. Again, like, they're just not good at their jobs. I am sure some writers will obviously remain. Like, the good writers will still be able to get jobs, but the vast majority of them, the random mediocre what's-her-names,
the question.
will disappear.
Fire is the answer.
Like so much rain in the morning. The realist
like
becomes a member. Thank you very much.
There was a writer I really did, an actress I really didn't like. I think like the voice of Bayonetta, like it really pissed me off. Something that she said, I forgot what it was. But like she's like, oh, if you're oh yeah, she wasn't paid enough or some shit. And then went salty about it. And it's like, well, if you're not paid enough, don't take the fucking contract. Jesus.
Well,
and she was like, well, I'm an educated person.
About.
Yeah, I'm an educated person and I done at university and they came at me with this contract. I'm like, what the fuck I get? But like, now she's, any actor that takes advantage of the strike is never going to get into the union.
Good.
Okay.
But no, I remember that because she was whining about the fact that they didn't offer her enough money, and it was tens of thousands. Like it was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. Yeah.
Yes, and then they went to somebody else who was like, "Oh Jesus Christ, yeah, of course." And then she whinged about that, like, "How dare you go to someone you can afford?" When I'm right, it's like, see, that is one of the key issues that so many people have about these people as well. The entitlement. Because there's a lot of tweets, for example, about the actors going, oh, what should you do? Should you cancel Netflix? No. Don't cancel the companies. They pay us. Because it is all about them wanting more money. They are not taking a principled stance. They are not doing this because they have actually genuine problems. It's because they are all wealthy urbanites who's like, well, I must live 5 meters away from the city center. I must have 11 Starbucks a day. Clearly, I'm not being paid enough.
Well, you know, if ISIS had the streaming account, all of them would sign up for it.
Probably. Phoenix says, my only frustration is that both the WGA Writers Guild and Hollywood can't take the deep plunge into destruction. Well, never say never, sir, because there is a scenario in which both sides lose here. That unironically is because right now the studios, the reason why they are willing to try and starve them out is because the studios know they must cut costs now. They can't afford to let this go on. They can't afford to let the hole of debt grow any deeper. But of course, the longer this lasts, the less they'll be producing, the deeper the hole will grow. There is absolutely a scenario here in which both parties lose.
Yes. I mean, they don't understand that money doesn't come from thin air. Like, I'm looking at the writer of She-Hulk. And they were bitching and whining about the residual payments or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, like, you do realize that didn't make a profit. Like, it didn't make money.
Yep.
Like, you want to be paid without creating wealth. Like, you're not generating wealth, and yet you want to make money. Why?
And upon what the residuals, that is pay you get after you've been paid. Like, this is additional free money you are given.
Yeah.
Like, unironically, Hollywood will be replaced by something ridiculous. Like already, the East is making better movies than us. Like, already, there's this hilarious Indian movie from Bollywood called RRR. You should check it out. It is funny as fuck. It is the most over-the-top bullshit you have ever seen. Like, there is actual tiger riding scenes in this fucking thing. There is an unironic dance-off. Like, it is the most insane shit you've ever witnessed. And it's great.
Yeah.
And Hollywood doesn't give us this anymore. Hollywood gives us effete men and the same strong female that we've seen in every single other movie.
The strong female trope, which is like the only way they know how to depict a strong woman is by giving her toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Like, if she doesn't beat up 5 men in one scene, she's not strong enough. You know, the concept
it is to
of like
make her unlikable. That's how they
Yes.
make them a strong female.
Yes, like the idea of you know, like a mother that sacrifices herself for her kids, like that's not strength in their eyes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, anime has, like, Mikasa, for example, is a very strong woman. But she's not dislikable.
It is again. The problem is the strong female in the West is the same character. They are a brash, asshole-ish, dislikable character.
Like Tanya. Like, the thing is, I haven't even played the fucking game, and I know that's what it's going to be. She's going to have, like, a really rotten character. I mean, Jade in Mortal Kombat, the previous one, also same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the moment they diversify a character, it's like, okay, this character is progressive, they have a rotten personality. I can't think of any single race-swapped female character that is, like, wholesome, sweet, and adorable.
Yeah, me neither.
Actually, is there any wholesome, sweet, and adorable character at all? Like, the last one that I remember was, like, the one in Stranger Things, the one that was the lesbian, like, that one is actually good. The ice cream girl, you know? And then you also have the, like, in Detective Pikachu, it was, like, the female character, she was also likable and adorable. But, like, other than that, can you think of a female character that's likable and adorable from the Western media?
Not in recent memory.
Okay, let's put it differently. Any one of them that you would want to be friends with, like not relationship, but like you would like to hang out. You know, like let's go out and do something.
Unironically, the only thing I can think of is the Orville.
I mean, the Orville, yeah, does have waifus, but like besides that,
Because no, like all of them have to be the strong female. They're all the same character. They're all equally annoying. It's
I feel like
literally the character
Has-Been-
trope.
Has-Been Hotel has some like female characters that you'd like to hang around with.
I mean, I don't know about that. I've seen enough of that show to know that they're not good people either.
And it's not about being good people or bad people. It's just that they're fun to be around. Like their personality isn't that off-putting. Like for example, what's her name? Charlie, right? Like Charlie is not a bad person to be friends with.
I question more.
The radio fucking demon is also not a bad person to be friends with. Like he's not a woman, so I get. I'm not talking about good people, Arch. I'm talking like people that you would enjoy going out and spending some time with, like talking and hanging around.
So John says, V, happy you enjoyed my comment about Blizzard. Did you enjoy his comment about Blizzard?
That maybe, I guess.
Maybe. Matej Svek says, Shadow and Bone series on Netflix is really good. Is it? I watched the first season, parts of it. For me, it just seems like a reverse harem manga. Which unironically isn't a bad thing. They can be good too. There's actually quite a few good manhwas, Korean ones. But to me, it actually felt really basic bitch. But that's probably because it is literally just a Korean manhwa, but in the West. Andrew Schmidt says, Hey Arch, ask V what a demi-culverin uses. Demi-culverin, okay. We're getting complicated here. V, what does a demi-culverin use?
What is a demi-culverin?
That is for you to know.
Describe the weapon, at least.
Oh, big, kind of looks like a cannon.
Well, then it doesn't use neither clip nor ammunition. It probably uses a bullet or a rocket or whatever the fuck it's called.
There you go, chat. Demi-culverins use rockets or bullets.
Or shells.
Or shells.
Was I right?
No. No, you were not.
That's used.
Round
you didn't
shots.
describe the weapon properly.
Literally, round shot. They're cannons. They just fire balls of iron.
Oh, but I didn't know. I thought it's something modern.
No. It's
like,
ancient.
why didn't you ask me like what a cannonball uses? And I'm like, well, it uses.
Well, regardless, 16th century cannon uses primarily bullets and or missiles.
No, actually, it uses three things. Okay, so it can be loaded with grape shot. It can be loaded with chain shot. It's like two cannons and a chain in order to destroy the mass of another ship. Or it can be loaded with a cannonball.
Well, at least one of those were right.
All three are right, because you can change the ammunition, right? Like the grape shot is to hit a lot of people. Like it's like for the battlefield. The cannonball is when you're sieging shit. And the one with the chain is when you're attacking ships. Yeah. Yeah, I do know a little bit.
Dean Domino25 says, I remember Ethan Van Schrijver talking about that IP point as well, V. I think it was some study using Legos.
Yes. That's where I got it from.
It's
a Lego study.
Green Branch 1 has been a member for 2 months. Thank you for your continued support, sir. Says, the Wheel of Time IP has been great. The book have a great balance with both strong men and women. Also, hello, Arch and V. Hope all is well. Heretic Ratbrick. Good. Yes, I am doing very well. How is V?
I'm doing great.
And yeah, no, the Wheel of Time TV show is terrible. It is literally just strong female character, and Randall Thor is barely a character. In fact, the only opportunity he has to shine, he immediately gets his ass whooped by Satan and then needs to be saved by the woman. Because, duh. 412 Cadia says, Rem is best girl. That is a commonly held opinion, and also one that I happen to agree with.
Too bad they raid her.
Well, you know, she's just asleep for a while. I'm sure she'll be back eventually.
Oh, you didn't read the... Okay.
Did they wake her up?
Huh?
Did they wake her up?
Yeah.
Aw. That's tragic.
She doesn't remember anything, Arch.
Oh, well, that's fine. Well, that's retarded.
No,
That's fine.
she now hates the main cat. She's like, she's got a phobia of him.
That's fine. That means you just got to get back to it. Like, see, the issue with ReZero is I quite liked the first season, didn't hate the second, but the third, oh fuck me, oh Jesus! It reminded me of Endless 8 from Suzumiya Haruhi. Just Jesus, you have 24 episodes in which nothing happens. Like, I get it. He's supposed to go back in time. He's supposed to take a long time, etc. I understand, but Jesus Christ.
Wait, I don't think I've seen the third season. So like the second one is with the wolf, right? Like with the they're at the sanctuary or whatever the fuck it's called. Is that the second one?
The third season, is it, or is it the second season?
The one where he kills the bunny.
It might have been the second season.
Right, because I think it has only two. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they're werewolves and shit, and nothing ever happens. I thought there were another season though, because there was the one with the whale. That wasn't the first season.
And it's also so annoying because it's like it goes from 0 to 100. You know, like he's just supposed to be there for like one episode, you'd think, and then he's like stuck in there for the entire season.
Yeah, oh god, I hated that season. I hated that season. Like,
yeah.
You gotta give me some progress. Jesus, I can only stay invested in this fucking tarded character for so long.
No, I get what they're doing. It's what I'm doing with my game as well. It's like the time loop shit, right? Like you keep dying and you wake up and it's like, it's the Groundhog Day. But like, you can do Groundhog Day properly and you can do it the way ReZero did season 2.
There is a limit to how many times you can groundhog.
Or at least, like, if the groundhog doesn't go anywhere, it gets annoying.
Yes. John McCullough says, money for Arch. Now I'm off for breakfast. Any recommendations? Breakfast. Toast with jam. I like toast with jam. It may seem bland, but I am a Norwegian. We only eat bread. That is a thing. V, do people in your country like make extravagant breakfasts like with like pancakes and waffles and shit?
It's not Romanian traditional, no.
Yeah, because we just eat bread, like just a slice of bread. That's food. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it depends on the person, I guess. Like some people even don't eat breakfast.
To be fair, that's probably me. Like I eat like one meal a day and then I snack.
That's why we're getting fat, Arch. Like apparently you're supposed to eat 3 meals a day in order not to get fat.
I know, but I'm not fat.
Yeah, but it's like counterintuitive. Like you would think if you eat less, you lose weight, but no. Apparently you need to eat a little and like spread it across the day to 3 meals.
Well, that's very retarded. I don't like it.
Me neither.
Scott the Celt has been a member for 6 months. Thank you very much, sir. And says, will the strike in AI destroy possibilities for up-and-coming actors? And actors to make a name for themselves? Question mark. It's true that legacy actors and writers are crap. Oh yeah, like it's going to ruin anyone's chances. But the thing is, that's just how it goes. As cruel and asshole-ish as that is reality. Like becoming a YouTuber today, for example, is infinitely harder than 5 years ago, which was infinitely harder than 5 years ago, which was infinitely harder than 5 years ago, and so on. The more people are doing a thing, the more competition for that thing.
That is correct.
It's also the fact that the more established that thing becomes, the more established the people in it become. Like, when Arnold Schwarzenegger was becoming, you know, the superhero that he is, his competition was old and gone, like already on the way out, and there was nobody who really did what he did. He, in many ways, launched this new group like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Van Damme, etc. Oh god, what was that? What was the name of that Russian simp? Steven Seagal.
Was he Russian?
Russian simp. He really likes the Russians.
Mm.
They came up in a bit of a vacuum, where more of a explosion, where Hollywood was really blowing up and there was a lot of stuff going around.
Lost.
But today, you're competing against them. You're competing against the established actors. And even if you get a major movie deal, like with Marvel, if you get to play Thor or Captain America, it doesn't really launch you into stardom in the same way, because then you get typecast, you know? Then you're just that guy. Then you're just Captain America rather than the person. You are no longer Arnold Schwarzenegger. You are that guy who played Cap.
Yeah, I'm like literally like that. It's like, this is Thor. This is Iron Man.
That's Thor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tragic part of it, but yeah, it is going to be much more difficult. But it's just how it is. It seems like. Now, there is a potential for the democratization of creativity, though. If everyone has access to AI tools that could potentially allow them to make their own, like, shows or entertainment and stuff, then that would allow anyone to be like, okay, I have a novel in my brain. I can actually make that novel come true. Like, this is already the case for game development, for example. Like, it is infinitely easier to make a game today than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think they'll allow the little guy to be that creative.
That's the thing.
They will have enough AI safety so that, yeah.
Yep. It's like, what do you want to make a thing? Oh, no. You're going to need to license the Google AI bot, and it's going to come with some checks and
That's
balances.
actually, like, literally, it's why Steam doesn't let you use any AI, because the copyright laws aren't clear. So, like, if you use, let's say, whatever software in order to create images, you don't own the rights. It's probably the company that's AI you're using that has the rights.
Yes, you need to be able to prove that you have the copyright to the thing, which is difficult and derpy in many cases.
Yeah.
So John says, this can be blamed on usury by central banks. Well, in part, yes. It can be blamed a lot on the banks. It can be blamed a lot on economic policy as well. Because it's not just the loans, but it's a big deal of it, like the ESG money. And the fact that people didn't really need to make a return on their investments for a very long time. Like, you could lose money forever, it seemed, and nobody would care. But of course, that's the problem. Eventually, you will arrive at the point where you need to pay the piper. And if you don't have anything to pay with, all the town's children are going to go off into the forest.
The conspiracy theory is that they want to crash the economy to install the CBDC.
Honestly, I think an economic crash would make people less inclined to trust systems like digital money.
But it would be like you get welfare, you get what they call it, universal basic income, but it's CBDC. So like, imagine this way, right? Like, you have an inflation that fucks up the price of milk. It's like $1,000 to buy milk, or it costs $2 CBDC dollars.
Potentially, but I don't know. I think it might be too mask off, because a lot of people are beginning to realize slowly but surely what is happening to the world. Like, the entire idea, you know, you've probably seen this, like, the World Economic Forum, conspiracy theory. Then you look at their website, like, oh, they seem to be announcing the conspiracy theory out in the open.
Yeah, but like, after COVID, I don't really have faith in the general public anymore. Like, I've seen how easy people give their rights away. Like, if you scare them a little bit, immediately they're like, okay, well,
yes.
Even though, like, this is not constitutional, even though it was never done, even though it makes us look like China, let's fucking do it.
But a lot of
if
people
only we can save one life.
Did react very poorly to COVID, and the people who were pro-COVID restrictions have pretty much all been called out on it now. Not properly, like, they haven't gotten what they deserve by any stretch of the imagination, but the majority of the population currently look at the COVID crazies like they are pretty nutty.
I don't know. I think they have their own bubble, and I don't think like anyone got fired over it, right? Like, you had a scientist that called it so fucking wrong, and nothing happened to it. They're still scientists today. Like they didn't get fired. You know, like they're not considered to be less prestigious.
Well, some of them. Like, I think, what's that American guy? The Fauci? I think he certainly has dropped in quite a few people's estimations.
Yeah, but like he's already old, so I think like he can just retire. The science will retire. I don't know what we're going to do as mankind, but you know, he called himself the science.
The science.
The science, like literally. He's like,
We will soon arrive at a point where science is unpopular. Poppetot says, hello, people. Hey, V, another YouTuber. I watched named Rev gave you a shout out about the freaks attacking you. They can sit and spit on a belated dildo. Scratch that, they might actually enjoy it.
there is an interesting trend with like people who attack anything that's sexual on Twitter, right? Because like sexuality is allowed on Twitter, and there's people attacking it. And when you look at their timeline, almost every single time they're furries, they're into some other fringe sexuality. But and my thing is like, okay, you can be into that, like that's fine. But like, why can't you be tolerant? Why are you attacking what other people are into, especially when they're into mainstream vanilla stuff?
Again, like we talked about last week or the week preceding, it is a power play. It is a sheer, simple power play. My fetish good, your fetish bad.
But it's like, it's not even a fetish. It's like vanilla stuff, you know? It's not really...
Well, no,
I find
it's
bizarre.
a fetish for them. Like, your vanilla shit is their degenerate nonsense.
No, but like what I'm trying to say is that for a long period of time, you know, like people that are in the majority usually shame the outliers, right? But now we live in the upside down world where the outliers think they can shame the majority. But like, not the thing is like the things that I post on Twitter, like, okay, I want characters with big boobs. Like this is something that I would talk at the dinner table with my parents and no one would be shocked. You know, it's like, I'm a man and I like big boobs. Oh my God, really? Oh, what are we going to do? Our child, you know? But the stuff they're into, like furry diaper porn, it's like, you go and talk with that with your family. You know, see how they react. And you think that you can shame me when you're into that. That's what I don't get.
Well, yes, because they have been doing so successfully for a decade plus. Again, their sexuality has fucking parades, V. What are you? What does your have?
Lost.
Where is Big Tits Day? Does it have a month? No, it does not.
Doesn't have a flag, yes.
No, exactly. V's Big Tits has lost. Big fat dude in a tanga has won. Scarfy the Strange says, if I were to interview a developer of the rare Magic the Gathering arcade game, what should I ask him? Is it called Magic the Gathering? It is called Magic the Gathering Armageddon. Magic arcade game? I don't know.
What the fuck watches that?
I don't know. Magic the Gathering arcade. Oh, there was apparently an actual arcade machine.
I remember there were like many Magic the Gathering games, but
Ask him why Wizards of the Coast refuse to make attractive women anymore. That should work. Because they really do refuse.
To be fair, Magic the Gathering rarely had like actual attractive women. I think like World of Warcraft trading card game, that one had like really wishy waifus in it. But Magic the Gathering was kind of tame. It had a couple, but like not that many.
Also, anyone who doesn't understand the anime reference currently up on screen, consider yourself happy. Jacob Andrews says, I read that SWAT Cats was cancelled because someone at the top thought it was too violent. Yeah, that sounds like the like the concerned citizen days of our youth. Back when we were children, yeah, they were absolutely like conservative Christian. So we're like, oh, violence bad.
Yeah, every single time like art was actually censored. It is sad, but what can you do?
It is a tragedy. Gary Thomas says, speaking of CTN and Ben 10, I always found Gwen much cooler and more interesting than Ben, but I always knew Ben was the star of the show. Gwen was good. I liked Gwen. Gwen can be a main character too. Especially adult Gwen. Vakali says, hope everyone have a great Saturday. I had a shower thought, are there any truly democratic Islamic countries? I can't name one off of the top of my head. Well,
Turkey used to be.
there are several quote-unquote democratic Islamic countries.
Turkey used to be, yeah.
Egypt, as well, has at least pretended to be on several occasions. Algeria, I think, as well. But the issue is, was it in... I think it was in Libya. What was interesting is, they had their whole revolution thingy, the Arab Spring, etc. And everyone was like, yeah, finally, the Arabs are going like, what, feudalism bad? And revolting against the theocracy. And then they had democracy. And can you guess what they voted for, V?
Sharia theocratic regime.
Yes, precisely. I loved that. It's like, oh, they'll be liberal now. Nah, like they did.
It's also like most people don't understand Islam. It's not a religion like Christianity. It's like it's a different organization of like a nation. It's kind of like capitalism, and communism are ideologies that you can structure a nation off of. This is like that, but it's religious.
Yes.
Heresy's the question.
Actually, hold on.
Fire is the answer.
Isn't Albania Muslim or something? V, you tell me. You live there, kinda.
I don't live in Albania, and I
you
don't
live
know.
nearby.
So. Yeah, fucking no.
Yeah, you do. Albania's like right next door to you. It's like it's past Serbia and by the ocean.
I have lost.
It's far away, Arch.
God damn it. It's like saying that Sweden is far away from me. But, I think Albania is a Muslim country, and it's democratic, sort of. I think, maybe. But yeah, I think that's about as good as it gets. TZ Rock says, imagine what a human and an AI can do together. Yes, beautiful harmony. Unironically, we are going to need cooperation between human and the beep boop first, and then we can move on to just beep boops. Scarf the Strange says, numbers can make you win, but they can't make you feel good about winning. Life without passion is a boring grind. I see your point, but I do also disagree. Like, when the people in the Moneyball thing were winning every baseball game, I guarantee you they were feeling pretty damn good about winning, regardless of whether or not that win was coming from a mathematical equation or le passion.
Yeah, I think like the only difference is like when it takes the complete fun out of the game and you're not making money. Like that's when like if it was like a little league baseball or something and it's like you gotta play the meta, like you gotta play like this, even if it's not fun, then that's when they may complain. But like if you're making money, no one complains.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
As Sorana says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. AI replacing jobs now is the same thing as machinery and automatons replacing workers during the Industrial Revolution. Yes, to a degree. Though I will say it is more unclear where the workers will go this time. Probably, I think they will simply go into the service and entertainment industry. I think that in 20, 30 years... entertainment, as we think of it today, will be extinct. It will be 100% replaced with AI creating content for YouTube. Like, YouTubers will have AI, and they'll use it to create documentary series, they'll use it to create fly fishing series, they'll use it to create everything you can imagine. I think that will be the future face of entertainment. Individual creativity and services. I also think prostitution is going to have boom times, by the way. As people get more and more closed off and separate from society, I think we are going to see in the West what they already have in the East, like renting friend groups to celebrate birthdays and like hostess clubs and shit. That is going to happen over here as we get so isolated from humanity that human contact becomes a service.
Human contact becomes a service. Jesus, I don't want to live in that time.
Oh, you're not going to die before we're here. Don't worry, you'll be that old boomer sitting at your porch yelling at people like, where do you pay for that? Just 5 friends, you loser.
It is true though, right? Like if the AI waifu becomes very advanced, at that point, a lot of people are going to just use their own AI companion rather than just interact with other people. But
Yes.
you know, like that is not such a big concern because like when the internet was made and people used chat rooms and shit, like the parents was like, oh, why don't you go play outside? Why don't you have real friends? And it's like, well, I mean, I can pick up the phone and call this guy on the chat room, but like, does that not make him a real friend?
Makes him a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, but it's pretty much like the same addiction, right? Like people staying on IRC chat and people spending a lot of time on Facebook, right? Like you're still staying in front of a computer. I don't see how that's different than interacting with an AI. Like from your perspective, it's still letters on the screen, even though like one is sent by a human and the other one is sent by an algorithm. It's still the same shit, isn't it?
Possibly. Judo Cricket says, how sad is the world when people are more against child labor than child trafficking? Well, again, the entire reason they're opposed to the child trafficking movie is because it was made by a right-winger. Like, for these people, their politics is their greater good. It is their absolute. Anything that goes against the politics, no matter how virtuous, must be evil, which is why a literal anti-child trafficking movie is considered a negative by these people. Like, we have arrived at that point. Yeah. How dare you, filthy right-winger, be opposed to selling children?
It's kind of like if Trump would discover the cure for cancer, they would say that it's racist and people shouldn't use it.
Yep, just like when he made the COVID vaccine, they were like, oh my god, I don't know about that. But then Biden was like, hey, COVID vaccine, oh my god, 5 shots, please.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
That is one of the best examples, actually, because that literally did happen. Like, they made a 180 switch.
Yep. Elsie Serrana says, on the farm, we call the child labor daily chores. Oh, yeah. There used to be vacations from school, specifically to send children home to, like, pick potatoes and shit. Because it needed to be done. You had potatoes in the field, and you needed to pick them. So, children. Rangi says, ignore AI. We live in an era where I can just watch almost any show that ever existed without leaving my couch. The backlog of existing content is here. It is, but even then, you underestimate the amount of content we devour right now. Like, people watch entire television shows in a day. Like, the concept of binging, where you go through, like, 6 or 7 hours of entertainment in an evening.
And I remember when you actually had to wait for like 1 day a week, like let's say Friday, and that's when Stargate came out, but it was only on TV. So if you missed it, the episode was lost.
Yep,
like
you were shit out of luck.
That's why actually a lot of all the shows, they didn't connect the episodes. Like if you remember Star Trek, right? Like you could watch, besides the first and the last episode of the season, you could watch them in any order whatsoever, and it wouldn't matter because like they weren't connected to each other. Like every episode started, you know, with Captain Jean-Luc at the board of the Enterprise, and they pretended that anything that happened up until that point didn't exist.
Uh-huh.
And that was because like people couldn't binge watch, and they had like no idea what happened in the previous episodes. So that was so that someone that never watched Star Trek would start watching from that point and understand what the thing was about without much introduction.
Yep, which was necessary back then.
But you can't do that with like Breaking Bad. Like imagine you're watching Breaking Bad in the middle of season 3 and you're like, well, you get all these references and all these, you know, plot lines that you have no idea about.
Beethend says, use children as minesweepers. Well, it's a little cruel. Plus, we don't know if their little feet will be heavy enough to set them off. You know, got to think about these things. It's very important.
Yeah, even like armies that like the Soviets didn't do that. So
I'm
the
sure they
Soviets
were
use
thinking
children?
about it.
Did they use children in combat, Arch?
I don't think they got desperate enough for that.
I think the Germans did, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were desperate. That was when everything was collapsing and they were starting to hand out Panzerfausts to passing kids.
There's one for you and one for you.
Davos Aurelian says, at this point, it's either extreme autism/stupidity, a BDSM liking of punishment for worst film work, or it's cringe Olympics. It does seem that way. Entertainment is just garbage. Just unironic garbage.
I can't refute this, Arch.
That is because there is nothing to refuse. It is simply just fact. It is the world as it is today. Observable reality, one could even say. Nolly says, climbs down into the hole with V.
Heresy's the question.
You know, V, while I
Fire is
enjoy
the
an
answer.
Hell of a Boss too, probably shouldn't use literal hell beasts for good characters. Also,
I
if
never
you want a
said you're
likable
good.
female from that show, Millie is right there.
Yeah, I'm not saying like good as in positive, you know, like a influential character for your children. I'm saying good as in well written.
Well written. What's the name of the furry? Or is that from the other one?
It's the hell of a boss. I don't know the name of the furry, but it's like a hellhound. Yeah.
I will say again, the animation quality of that show. I only watched one episode and then I was like, oh, I'm totally going to watch more of this, and then never did. But the animation quality is astounding.
Service
Like, it's the
guaranteed
kind of shit
citizenship.
that I thought we would get today. Like, when we were young, it was like, my God, how awesome must television be in the future?
No, you're absolutely right. And I would say it competes with anime and in animation quality.
Mm-hmm. John McCanna says, proper bread, not the mass-produced stuff, is genuinely delicious, but I don't have any jam left. Well, toast, good toast, even just with butter and maybe a bit of sugar, can be good too. Judo Cricket says, so when can we expect an AI co-host on the ArchCast? Between you and V, that AI should be a
lost.
doozy. Unironically, I imagine that at the rate at which things are proceeding, like I am already looking at using AI for my historical videos. Because we're looking... Yeah, you could maybe. Because we're looking at like, okay, we need pictures from St. Petersburg. And there just isn't a whole lot. Or we need pictures of Nicholas II, and there's just not a whole lot. You can ask the AI to be like, okay, make me a picture of Nicholas II. And it'll do a reasonable job. It isn't perfect, it isn't flawless, but it's close enough for government work. So already I'm looking at introducing AI into my workflow. Hell, I already use AI to create thumbnails, for example, because it's easy. Whenever you probably have this too, V, when you have the picture of the perfect thumbnail in your head, and then you start trying to look for reference material of that thumbnail, and you can't find it.
No, because my thumbnail is shit. Like,
That's true. But AI lets me do that. Okay, the Cleopatra nonsense about Cleopatra being racist, etc. So I wanted a picture of frowning Cleopatra. Turns out there's not a whole lot of frowning Cleopatra pictures, but 5 seconds in an AI, and there you go. Like 10, 20 years, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we would integrate AI straight into YouTube. I wouldn't be
You
surprised.
already have Neurosama.
Yeah.
Heresy's the
You don't,
question.
you don't follow
Fire is the
Neurosama?
answer.
Yeah.
Is the AI VTuber.
I have seen it. In fact, there's a couple AI VTubers now.
Yeah. She's quite wholesome.
Wholesome.
Yeah. You could have her as a co-host. In fact, like the guy running her usually positions himself like a turtle on top of her head. You know she can sing. She did karaoke.
Boog says, Rev says, Desu is cool. Invite him to talk. Who is this Rev person?
He is a person gossiping about VTubers that I think is bigger than you, so I don't know if he's going to come.
Well, that's the usual, isn't it?
It is the law of the YouTube, yeah.
It is.
Unfortunately, yeah. Numbers do matter.
Yes, it is unfortunately the rules of YouTube. We are an exception here on this channel in that we usually bring on people that are smaller all the time.
You're also like every single episode that I see is him defending Lolly.
Ah. Well, in which case we'll get along, because I too will defend Lolly.
Oh, I suppose. It's just like... The thing that it's interesting is that he points out that the people attacking lollies are into very interesting stuff, and some of them even get convicted after a couple of weeks.
That wouldn't surprise
Like,
me.
I'm not saying like convicted as in, oh, there may be accusations. No. It's like the judge and jury found the defendant guilty type of conviction.
Yeah, of course, because it's a guilty conscience. Like, that's the thing. Lolly, no matter what your opinion is of it, is a fucking drawing. It can't be hurt. You can't traumatize it. You can't hurt it physically. You cannot affect or damage the lolly in any way. No matter what you do to the lolly, even if you sit there jerking it off as hard as you can, nothing is going to happen. It is a victimless crime, shall we say. And at the end of the day, in that case, I don't care. Like, you can find it disturbing, creepy, disgusting, go ahead. But the only people who then go, like, I need to call this out, tend to be the people who have some pretty interesting fetishes of their own, shall we say.
It's interesting because usually the people that are convicted, they don't seem to be into lolly. Like, you look at their timeline, and it's not what they're into.
I'm assuming it's something considerably more spicy.
Well, I mean, they're not posting the spicy stuff, but it's usually like furry or, well, whatever. You know, let's just change the subject because it's disgusting.
You cannot harm the .jpeg. The JPEG is immune to your efforts. Well, chat, you can spam him with messages. Don't do that, but you can say, oh, hey, would you like to come on this thing? And if he says yes, then sure, we can press him. But normally speaking, contacting larger people tends to be pointless. Oliver Nord says, old news probably been covered before, but I need to know, why do we need to breed Gibbs? Can't he find by a blackmailer a willing mate by himself? You know, like the rest of us? No. It is impossible. Gibbs cannot love or be loved because of his unique characteristics. Therefore, must breed Kib. And considering what he owes me right now, I think we'll be having a voice line similar to Dev's in not too long.
When is this game coming up?
Well, I've been told about his combat demo, which is right around the corners, for as long as I've known the man, so soon, is my estimation.
Wait, he doesn't have the combat demo yet?
Not yet.
I see.
Marksman of 117B says, Bunkle Arch, what penis will you choose for Baldur's Gate 3? A reptilian. Like, not even a question. The biggest, most vile, brutish-looking monster penis I can legally acquire, obviously. Because it will make the sex scenes rather funny. Even though I'm going to have a big screen-blocking picture ready, standing by at a moment's notice.
Oh, Arch, I just have a genius idea. Like, given the fact that there's so many people watching, if any of you is good into live TD, like you know how to do rigging and stuff, like contact me on Twitter, DM. I may have a job for you.
Help.
Well, you said you would want an animator too, so like if he does a good job, then you can pass it over. Like
I do want animators, yes.
Yeah. So if you're an animator, if you make like still drawings move, and it's credible. Like, you can look at it, it's like, oh my god, it's jumping through the screen. Like, contact us. We got jobs.
Nolly says, you know, Arch, if you have a taste for rat waifu, Magic had Nezumi check the Throat Cutter Ninja to see where your artists may have gotten inspiration. But rat waifu is simply just a Skaven, though.
Magic the Gathering actually have a rat waifu.
I have lost.
What was it called? Nezumi?
Nezumi, which I'm pretty sure is Japanese for just, like, mouse.
Nezumi, Magic the Gathering. Apparently it is a thing. Oh,
Incidentally, chat, you're looking at a very racist image right now. You might not know, but...
She's actually kind of hot, Arch.
I don't know about that. I looked it up too. I'm not sure. I don't
Well,
know.
maybe we didn't look at
Might
the
be a little
same.
bit too furry for me.
Is it?
Oh, a little bit.
It's got tits.
Oh, I don't know if that's enough.
I mean, big milkers.
I'm
And
not
she's
sure.
got like cool. She's got like cool swords and stuff.
I think we need to anthropomorphize that a little bit more.
Service guarantees citizenship.
So you're telling me if you're drunk and that thing is bouncing on top of you, you would go like, "No, get off."
I think I'd scream.
Would you?
Yes, it'd
Of
be a
pleasure
very
or of-
unusual thing.
But look at her tail. Like she's holding one of
Look
those
at
food
her
eyes.
tail.
Like that tail is really flexible. Like it can do things with it.
See, I think anyone's first reaction to something not human fucking them should be scream.
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends what it does. You know,
Not
like
necessarily.
if it's an alien waifu that's abducting you in her UFO, like would you scream?
Yes,
What if she has like big tits?
I'm being abducted by an alien, V. My
it's a hot
priorities are
waifu.
not breeding at the moment.
I see. You know, you can have sex for pleasure, not for breeding purposes.
I don't know. That depends on the alien's definition of pleasure.
Speaking of aliens, is XCOM 2 good? Because I saw you play it. Not
you-
XCOM, Xenonauts. Xenonauts 2.
Xenonauts 2 is good, but it does need to bake for a while longer. It's in early access like every other fucking game.
Can you actually like play the game, or is it like just bare minimum?
It's playable, but it's lacking too many of the core mechanics and stuff for to really be worth it right now. But it'll probably be good in another 6 months to a year.
Is it like Xenonauts 1, but like a little bit updated?
Yes, more or less.
That's unfortunate. Sorry.
Desert Hamster says, it's not democratic. Ah, I take it that's response to Albania.
Mm-hmm.
Scarf the Strange says, Magic the Gathering Arcade was made by Acclaim's coin-op division just before Acclaim went out of business. That's why it was short-lived and unheard of. I know nothing about arcade machines. Tanushi says, with backlogs, I have 6,000 video games on mine. Well, then you will be entertained for a while. Alvin Ord says, there is a matter of credibility when you present a remedy. Biden never recommended drinking bleach. Might have tried it himself, however. That could explain a lot. Oh, according to plan, said Trump. Yeah, no, obviously credibility is a big thing. That's why you trust your doctor and not the random person selling chicken poop on the street, claiming it to be a panache.
The thing is, like, Trump never recommended drinking bleach either, but okay.
No, that was the thing, because the ivermectin, which I don't even think he recommended. He said, like, oh, there has been studies suggesting, which is a little bit of a far cry from, like, a gulp of the horse dewormer.
Yes.
Judo Cricket says, clown shoes with weights in front for the kiddos. Clears the minefield and proves hilarity at the same time. That's true, that could be funny. Scarfy the Strange says, AI Red Dwarf computer
lost.
when?
Shit.
Soon. Maybe. Lolly Comes the Spartan says, here's a pretty reasonable stance on Lolly in my mind. Lolly is not CPing so long as Guro is not murder. Yeah. Like, Guro is a fetish I will never understand, but I would never be like, well, that's clearly murder. Because I believe even you made this point at some point, V. Like, if drawings should be considered reality, then we have a big problem with action movies.
Yeah. But not only that, like, well, let's say, like, violence is still fine, but, like, when you're into, like, hyper-violence, like Mortal Kombat level shit, or, you know, like, Walking Dead and stuff like that, then, well, shouldn't we assume that person is very dangerous for society?
Mark99 says, maybe you could make a rat waifu sensor. Maybe. I'll have Albine work on something. Poor little bastard's already overloaded. Reality Backhand says, no V, bad. Suffer not the Xenos to live. Simple as. I agree. I must agree. V stance on the whole alien sex thing is a bit extreme for me. Incidentally, did you see Nintendo's racist image, V?
No.
Here, I'll send it to you. There you
Let's
go.
see. How is that racist?
Watermelon.
Oh, fuck off.
No, unironically, this cover of Nintendo magazine was reported
No,
for...
I saw, yeah. Go.
Yep, for stereotyping blacks. It is, I believe, the first and hopefully the last time I will see a blonde, blue-eyed elf be called stereotypical of the black community. But
Curious, like, what if like Nintendo would respond with like the Chad yes meme?
Maybe.
Like, there needs to come a time when people just stop taking these individuals seriously and just like trolls the living shit out of them. It's like Nintendo is against black people, and Nintendo will be like, yes.
Yes.
What are they going to do? It's not like black people will stop playing Nintendo, and they know. Like the thing is, like, black people have a sense of humor as well. So
It's like, this is our black racial stereotypes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Now what? What are you gonna do about it?
yeah, especially if it's like something ridiculous, you know, like if it's actual racism, then yeah, you don't double down. But like if it's like complete bullshit and everyone knows it, you can't just tell them to Chad yes.
And speaking of racism, let's then move on to our other topic, the new Mortal Kombat character.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Yes, Anya, the evil.
See, okay, Tanya the Evil had a massive downgrade from her art form, from manga to visual novel to anime, but this one's a lot worse.
So the thing is, like, if you go on Twitter and you have anything negative to say about it, you're going to get the Twitter academic like, "Oh, you're just being racist. You're racist.
Maybe you should go for some porn if you want attractive women." No, I just...
The thing is, like, she used to be black before. Although like they constantly changed her skin color from like black brown, and it's like whatever. The thing is, like, look at the first picture, right? Like, she is a character which is coming from a different realm, and you can tell that because her eyes are glowing, right? She's using the femme fatale thing where she's like incredibly hot, but if you're a Democrat, you can't even make eye contact because like the soyness in you doesn't allow you, you know, like you're ashamed. But like the femme fatale is like, yeah, she's hot, but she's gonna kill you, right? She's oozing feminine energy, and she's like mystical. It's like the eyes are white, like she's got magic in her. The other one is just like a random chick next door, right? Like there is nothing. Yeah, like, she's wearing. Okay, I get it. Like she's wearing African thing, and it doesn't scream Edenia. It screams Earth, right? It's just boring, bland. Like there's no identity to that character. It can look like something that came out from Assassin's Creed. It can look something that came out from literally any AAA game, you know, like Black Panther or whatever. You can't, like, you show me that character, I don't think Mortal Kombat. You show me the first character, yeah, I think like that is an iconic Mortal Kombat character, definitely.
Well, that's one of the big issues with a lot of modern entertainment. They take what is supposed to be mystical and magical and incredible, and they make it fucking California. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They take this warrior from a different dimension, a dimension literally that has conquered millions of other planets, and she's a mystical, magical beast. She's murderous, she's dangerous as hell, and now she's some rando black chick with silver plates covering her hair. Like, okay.
And the interesting thing is that they consider Orientalism to be bad, but the thing is, like, Orientalism is fucking awesome. Like, a lot of people from the Middle East like it. So for those of you who don't know, it's like America's interpretation of, you know, like Middle Eastern folklore. So 1001 Nights, Aladdin, you know, like these types of things. Like they're not offensive. Like just because someone from the academia decrees that they are offensive, they never ran a poll with the people from the Middle East to say that yes, you know, America's interpretation of Middle Eastern folklore is bad. And the thing is, like, the first one is probably, like, rooted in Orientalism, and that's why they hate it. Although it's probably, like, more Egyptian, though.
It's also the fact that she just looks bad.
Yes.
Like, she unironically looks bad. Like, the full picture, like, this is the caricature of a character. Like, she looks ugly. and deliberate.
Why doesn't
to be
she use
ugly.
any makeup as well? It's like, what? Why is she arguing with the beauty products?
Like, is the Mortal Kombat developers telling us that black people cannot be attractive? Is that what they're telling us, V?
Do you know that the lead character designer, I believe, is a transgender individual?
That does not surprise me in the slightest, because this does look like a man.
I mean, I'm not saying that about this character. I was just finding it interesting.
Well, it
I mean,
is,
it's a very inclusive studio, is what I'm trying to say.
It's probably the same thing as with Fable, the ugly Fable character, because they're trying to ruin the very standard of beauty. They are trying to annihilate attractiveness as a concept, because if you don't know what is attractive, you don't have any standards anymore. Like,
that is true, but the problem that they're facing is that people go outside and see actual women.
yeah, like the issue is you are literally telling people that the sun doesn't exist, that it's not very very bright.
Yeah.
Like, it's night all the time. Then you look out your window and like, weird.
It's kind of like making every single video game in nighttime in order to like try to convince people that the sun doesn't exist, but they can literally just look out the window and they see, oh.
The evidence of your lying eyes.
And the thing is, like they will say, like if you take a black female character, you say they're ugly, they'll say, oh, you're racist because like, look, all these characters are black. It's like, this is what the AAA gaming does. Like, I'm sorry, but like if this is literally game after game after game, they cannot make attractive black female characters. Whose fault is it? Like, they exist in the real world. Like, if you ask me to find you attractive black women on Google, I can do that. I mean, hell, Resident Evil 6, I believe, like Shiva. I mean, the actual original Tanya as well, the one from the left. Like, there are attractive black women. It's just like they choose not to use them.
They do. They choose not to. It's like, it's not difficult to make hot chocolate waifu. It is, in fact, very, very easy.
Yeah.
But again, they elect not to. What's, oh god, what was the name of that from that game that bombed recently? You know, the RPG one with the black female character.
The Forspoken.
Forspoken, was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Forspoken. There you go. Like, okay. Like, the Forspoken character, at least isn't terrible. She's not particularly attractive, but at least she doesn't look outright ugly, you know?
It's
She's
a mental
at least...
illness haircut, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. At least she looks normal, like a regular human being. They haven't gone out of their way to make her ugly.
Arch, I want to sell an idea to you. Like, what if, okay, you have a Japanese person that doesn't speak English whatsoever, like the word doesn't understand it, and it's an isekai, but he is transported in modern California, but like he doesn't speak English, and it's not like a fictional or an alternative universe. It's just like California from today.
California from today.
Yeah, and he gets to see shit on the streets. He gets to see, like people doing drugs on the corner of the street. There's dangerous crime everywhere.
I feel
Would
like
that be a
you'd
good
little
isekai?
disgusted.
Would you watch that? Would you watch that? Like if it was an isekai?
It would be funny. I would take him. I would even take like a dude from the 50s and just put him in California. I was like, oh, is this how it is?
I think like in the 50s they did have problem with crimes. I think if you take like if you take a Frenchman from the 50s and you put it in modern Paris, like that would be a culture shock.
At least the gangsters dressed well.
It's the gangsters.
Yeah, it's true. And
well, did they, or is it how we see them in the movies?
It's how I prefer to see them. They dressed well. I like that. It's the same with the Nazis. The Nazis too dressed pretty well. Even though people would mostly agree that they did some pretty mean shit.
I mean, Hugo Boss wasn't German, so...
But even though, okay, you got the Forspoken character design. It's not terrible, but you could just do what Arcane did with Mel Mirada or something like that, I think. Like, she looks great. Like, she's an actually attractive female character. and she's black, proving that you can, in fact, have both.
Oh, they will say that this is brown and not black, I think. Like, they will actually use the argument.
Oh, we're gonna bring out the color swatch, are we?
Yes, they literally have, like, the color swatch.
Okay, which, I mean, if you go much blacker than Mel, I don't know, or straight up sub-Saharan, I mean, I'm pretty sure Mel is blacker than Tanya. God damn it. I hate the fact that we have to address this now. Like, how black
I'm
is
not
this
even going to
character?
fucking justify or entertain it. It's like, my dick doesn't like it. You don't want to, like, lower your face and talk to my cock. It's like, that literally simple as.
And PP not racist. PP just has standards.
And it's like, oh, so, like, you need to hyper say, yes, I'm paying money. My fucking entertainment. I like tits and violence. Why is it so fucking hard to do? I will pay you $90 if you provide the both of them to me. You're talking about a game where you perform fatalities on women, right? And not only that, like, you have the father performing fatalities on the daughter. So Jax can perform a fatality on Jackie Briggs, right? Very gruesome, over the top, right? And this is the company that lectures me about morality. How about you fuck off? Just put your entertainment out there. Stop pretending that you have the moral high ground, because you don't. And know what your audience wants. Like, when Street Fighter has sexier female characters than you know that's a problem.
Yep. Well, it's because we're still in this weird situation where violence is allowed. Like, you can do any violence you want, no matter how insane. In fact, it's kind of cringe at this point to do, like, hyper-violence almost. But sexuality, despite again, like, it's this idea that the free the nipple people would be the most sexually liberated people in history, but of course they aren't, because, again, it's that they want their own sexuality in focus. They still think that your sexuality is bad. It's just they're placing the old preferred sexuality of conservative Christianism, missionary after marriage, with furry diaper porn.
But what's interesting is that we have the Twitch hot tub streamers, we got the Drag Kids Story Hour, we got Cooties, we got AJ and the Queen, like, all of this shit. But heaven forbid we got, like, a titty in a video game. That's a little bit too far.
Well, again, it's their fetish. The cuties is definitely their fetish. And the hot tub streamers, that's them doing it. That's empowering, don't you see?
I don't know if they act like a collective mindset, but yeah, it is disgusting.
It is retarded. And that is why we now have a very African, very vile character.
I don't think people from Africa like it either. Let me show you what people from Africa do.
What people from Africa do?
Yeah, I'll show you. Give me a second, and I'll give you an example of what beauty is considered like.
We'll put
there you go.
Superior Tanya up on screen. Ah, the North Korean statue. Yes, this one is actually pretty good though. I don't remember where it was, but I think it was gifted to a country by North Korea, and it's very inspirational and very over the top, crazy and cool.
Oh, yeah, but it was approved by the Africans, right? So, like, this is what actual beauty looks like.
Because
and it's made by communists as well. Yeah. Can you imagine how difficult it is to make that?
Very. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah. Well, what if you make a mistake? How do you correct it?
You don't make a mistake.
You think?
It is inspirational. That is the beauty of it. It is clearly inspirational. It is golden. It is solar. And this is communism in its initial phase. That's what this is. This is communism in its luring phase. This is like, oh, we're just about progress. Look how amazing things will be in the future. Wow. And then you get to the future, and it's California.
Honestly, the communists of old would have probably put the communists of today in a gulag.
Yes. Not unironically, they would. Like there's
I
the
know.
famous letter by Stalin that
Yes.
a gay civil rights activist in England sent him a letter like, I don't know how homosexuality and communism interlinks. I don't understand. And Stalin just filed it away under degenerate.
And an idiot.
Yep. There you go. First against the wall. In the eternal world's words of Tanya, there can be no coexistence with communism.
I need to pick up my gun.
Yep, I must pick up my rifle. That is such a beautiful little meme, too.
And apparently, like, one of the writers is a communist.
Of Tanya?
Yeah. It was like on 4chan. Like, there were like several interviews where he sympathizes with Marxism. And I mean, it makes sense because like they're writing Tanya to be not a likable character. But like nothing that she does, I would say, is illogical or, just doing it for sadism's sake.
No, in fact, Tanya is a very logical and reasonable individual. That's her entire shtick. That she does things out of reasons.
But like she doesn't try, like she tries to keep her men alive. As long as you follow the rules and the commandments, like she doesn't try to kill you. Like because that's the thing, like what is evil? Like it would be if she was a sadist. Like if she was enjoying killing people and enjoying getting the men in her command to suffer. But she's not like that.
She is not.
So I don't see like how exactly she's evil. Like if she's just a person placed in a war, like she does things in order to survive. And she doesn't do it in a selfish way or in a sadistic way.
Tanya the Evil is a big misnomer of names because she is placed in a world by God deliberately to fuck with her, and then she just tries to live. Like Tanya, good girl.
But to be honest, she did try to fuck with God as well. So.
Tanya did nothing wrong.
Well, except giving sass to God. Like, why the fuck would you do that?
Because God was an asshole and turned you into a little girl.
Before that.
I think that was the first part, because he got pushed onto the rails by one of his subordinates.
Yeah, and then God talks to her, and she's like, well, I don't believe you're God. And it's like, what the fuck? It's like, well, yeah, but you could be like any creature. It's like, just because you have power doesn't make you God.
Allow me to demonstrate. That's true, but it might not have been the smartest thing to sass the Almighty. Oh well. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. What can I say? Alright. Anything else has happened this week? Do you have anything, V?
Pippa gave sass to Sargon.
Ah, the Sargon thing. There was Oppenheimer too. Yes, Oppenheimer. We should talk about that too.
I haven't seen it.
So, 2 movies released recently. It was Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah.
Did you see
I do know about Barbie, yes. Like, apparently Ken has reported the patriarchy. And I disagree with Sargon's take on this. On Twitter, he said that
I have
this
lost.
is a movie for women and it's not for men and it's fine. So just because this movie is feminist, like what else isn't? And I'm like, I mean, no, I can't criticize it and I should. I think like conservatives should be able to criticize this movie, even if it's not for them, because conservatives may have children that get to see this movie. And the idea of like indoctrinating the gender wars into the minds of children is very disgusting. Like men and women aren't there to compete with each other. They're there to form couples and form a whole. So I disagree with Sargon's take.
The problem is that it's not for women. It's a very political movie. From all of the clips I've seen of it, it's a very political movie, and it shouldn't be. It's about Barbie. Barbie's entire image is being a dumb blonde doll that lives in a pink fucking house. This should be the least political movie in history.
Well, apparently one of the writers did give sass, and they pointed out that he was asked to make the anti-Barbie, and he quit because he didn't want to make the anti-Barbie. And that's the problem, with these IPs. Like, they take the IP, and what they want to do is to make the anti-IP.
Mm-hmm. Like, literally, if you want to make a Barbie movie, what you should do is just make it basically a kids' movie, because that's who fucking plays with Barbies to begin with.
I disagree. I think you shouldn't. You shouldn't even make a Barbie movie to begin with, first of all. And second of all, it's not necessarily that, if you're going to make it, I don't know if you should make it for kids, because kids don't even play with Barbie anymore. They play with computers and smartphones.
That's true. I have no idea how popular Barbie is today. Like, is Barbie still a thing? I mean, I'm presuming
Last
so.
time I heard, they were making the paraplegic Barbie. I'm not even fucking kidding.
Of course.
They had the amputee Barbie, and they had the Barbie in a wheelchair and that type of shit.
Guarantees citizenship.
You think I'm joking, but I'm not. That's official. They had these Barbies with certain pathologies. I think one of them even had diabetes. I may be wrong on that. I have to double check.
Mattel introduces disabled Barbie in wheelchair. Yes.
See,
okay.
I'm not making I'm not kidding. It is what it is.
So here's the thing. All you really needed to do, a Barbie movie, it shouldn't be for adults. If you were gonna make a Barbie movie,
you know what you could do? No, you know what you could do? You have
Here's the
Barbie,
question.
and she's living in her
Fire is the
fantasy
answer.
world or whatever, and then she goes to the real world, but she's very innocent and pure compared to everyone around her.
yes.
And you can have a comedy off of that.
Yes, make Barbie the bubbly, perfect, super optimistic personality, goes to the real world, and everyone's mean to her, Barbie, what are you, some naive, dumb blonde? And she's yes. And in the end, she proves to be right, because, a good heart triumphs over all, blah, blah, blah. It's a super simple fucking feel-good story. That's how you make Barbie. Instead, they're Barbie, but with a swastika. And the worst part is, too, from the clips I've seen, the hilarious part is Ken appears to genuinely be
Heresy's the
oppressed.
question.
The
Fire
males
is
in
the
that
answer.
universe genuinely appear to be oppressed. They're there to carry heavy things and be shirtless. And then Ken goes to the real world and goes, wait, this is how things were supposed to work? Well, fuck.
That is hilarious.
That's kind of funny. It's wait, I don't have to be somebody else's gopher? No, you can be your own man. Oh, I never considered it.
And then the Barbies are no, we need to stop this shit. We need to.
Gotta put the men back in their place. They're getting all kind of uppity and shit. What the hell? Again, it's completely missing the point of the character. Barbie isn't supposed to be some deep goddamn character or play upon society. It's a fucking doll.
But everything is a play on society now.
And is the problem.
Which is why the writers are striking, yeah. The thing is, the grievances and the problems and the solutions they have for society doesn't resonate outside of California, let alone around the world, so.
Now, it did apparently do at least reasonably okay. It got 70 million in opening day box office sales. That is the biggest one this year, I think, which, man, doesn't that tell you something? $70 million opening weekend for big budget titles. I remember when 200-300 millions was the norm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Chinese propaganda movie released last year, Shanghai, whatever, got 200 millions on day one.
The Chinese propaganda. Yeah, I know what you're talking. Rings of whatever, yeah.
But it's doing better than, Indiana Jones, at
Heresy's
least.
the question.
There you go.
Fire is the answer.
Indiana Jones actually got a lot of women watching it because of Harrison Ford. But who wants to see geriatrics Harrison Ford? Yeah.
And the best part is, too, they're comparing this to Oppenheimer. It's oh my god, it beat out Oppenheimer, who's on second place. Wow, that's a real blow to the patriarchy there. who the hell would compare these two entities? Like, move this back 10 years, and you have Oppenheimer, some dude who probably half of America can't even pronounce the name of, and nobody knows who is, or Barbie, one of the most successful toy brands in human history, and ever imagine for a second that the two would actually be neck and neck at the box office? It's actually retarded when you think about it.
It is. Well, maybe not, because people don't really want historical films that much, you know?
Exactly, but that's why they shouldn't be comparing them. Like, this should be a slaughter, an annihilation. Barbie should be earning hundreds of millions, and Oppenheimer should be there, like, in a distant 50th place. Just
That's
like
a
The
good
Sound
point.
of Freedom should never have been able to compete with, like, an independent movie manages to beat out Indiana Jones, even if it was only on, like, one day, is insane. This Oppenheimer review too was kind of hilarious because it literally complains that a movie called Oppenheimer focuses too much on Oppenheimer and not enough on Oppenheimer's. There we go. The featured women, Emily Blunt as Kitty Oppenheimer, are sketched thin. You don't fucking say. A movie about the development of the nuclear bomb does not focus on the women who were not at all involved in the creation of the nuclear bomb.
I think, like, because women, like men, when they want to see a movie, they want to see action, like stuff that's getting built, you know, like things that are progressing. Meanwhile, women want to see character drama. This is why, like, men watch action movies, and on YouTube they watch people build stuff, like a Norwegian building a cabin in the woods. And the women, they prefer to watch telenovelas. So in this case, it's like, well, they want to watch Oppenheimer, and it's like, okay, but like, where's the drama in his life? Where's the nagging wife? Where's, you know?
But this
Did
was
he
a
have a
review
wife?
written by a dude.
It doesn't
And-
fucking matter. Like, you can have like the same ideology being poured down in your throat. Like,
Yes.
if you write in a publication that mostly women read, like, you know what to write to make them happy. So
And the thing is, this is a political thing. Because the Oppenheimer movie has kicked up quite a lot of controversy. It's like, was it right to bomb Japan? Yes. Yes. And they could have bombed it again, and it would still have been right.
apparently, like, they were planning to surrender. I mean, they were doing peace talks, but they wanted to bomb it to scare the Soviet Union.
V, and are we going to have to engage in a historical debate, you and I?
No, because it's 2 a.m., but we can do it next week.
Because it's not actually true. Yes, Japan
Service
was planning on
guarantees
surrender,
citizenship.
but the Japanese cabinet was deadlocked 3-3. So there was no surrender plan. They were just thinking about it, and they were talking about it. There was no realistic expectation
I have lost.
that it was going to happen quickly or soon, or that it was going to happen before America had to invade. The nuclear bombs were the ones that finally convinced the military hardliners that there was no holding Japan. Because the
Service
military
guarantees
still
citizenship.
thought that they could maybe bleed America enough to get some sort of a white peace. But when America obliterated 2 cities, that made it very clear that there was no point in trying to hold the territory, because if they did, the Americans would just go, "Nyan, poof."
Would they even have like more nukes? I think like they had one more.
No, they used both nukes. They had no further nukes, but the Japanese didn't know that. And
No,
the
but like
Americans weren't
they
gonna
could
tell
have.
them.
I think like they could have made another one.
Oh yeah, they would have taken like 6 months or so, but they could have always made more. But Japan would not have surrendered. And the thing is, the US plans for the invasion of Japan, Operation Downfall, estimated on average 40,000 US casualties per month. And estimated something along the lines of 100,000 Japanese casualties in the opening month alone. Like, there were American generals genuinely thinking that they were going to have to carry out a war of extermination against the Japanese. Like, they were
Yeah, because
plans
they
to
wouldn't
basically,
surrender. Like apparently,
Yes.
like even when taken prisoners, like they would raise the white flag or shit, but then they would still like have a grenade or something in order to try to take out an American soldier.
Yes, and they had used women and children for this too. Like, the base assumption was that they were going to have to set up concentration camps for basically the entire civilian population. and keep them in, not extermination camps as in the German concentration camps, but in the British definition, as in keeping them in one place.
They were basically like very strong believers in the emperor cult.
Yes. Like if Operation Downfall had happened, Japan as a nation might not exist today. Like the casualties would have been horrendous. So yes, the atomic bombs were absolutely moral, they were absolutely ethical, and they were absolutely necessary, both for the Japanese and the Americans. Now, if only MacArthur had gotten the go-ahead to bomb the Chinese during the Korean War. Now,
He
that
did
would have been
threaten
funny.
them with nukes, didn't he?
Oh, not only threatened, he requested permission repeatedly, but the president wouldn't give it to him.
Mm.
Because MacArthur was very much so of the opinion that the best way to settle the war with China was to just nuke China repeatedly. Which, I mean, would probably have worked, yeah. Yes.
There may have been a grievance between the US and China today, then.
Oh, if there even was a China today, then. Probably if
I mean,
America
it's
had
kinda
done that,
big.
China would have dissolved into yet another warring kingdoms period for another 50, 60 years, probably.
Don't they call it the century of humiliation?
Do they? Maybe.
Yeah, but it's like after the Opium Wars with Britain, I think.
Ah, yes,
Anyway.
the Opium Wars. They didn't like that.
Yeah.
They tried to modernize, but the Japanese modernized faster and beat their shit in. That was very unfortunate, too. Oh, poor China. China's had a hard history, what can we say? Oppenheimer. It's a weird person to focus on, but oh well. Anywho, did you see, by the way, I need to bother you with this. I need to send you the, there you go. The One Piece Netflix trailer.
I choose not. Oh my fucking no.
It looks about as bad as you'd think it does.
No. Why am I watching? No.
Ah, it's beautiful.
See, the thing is, like, why did they have to do One Piece? Like, why couldn't they just make a new IP with ships and shit? Like, people would have liked it.
Nope. They gotta do One Piece, because brand recognition.
Wait, is that the woman? Oh my fucking god.
Yes, she doesn't look very good, does she?
But, like, now it's more like, when you see brand recognition, you just don't want to watch it. Because, like,
Yep.
you know, yeah.
It's
Like,
just
if it was
reject.
something new, like, it has gotten to the point where something new would actually be more interesting than brand recognition.
Ah, One Piece. Don't worry, chat. I'm going to make Kibbs watch it. We shall be enjoying One Piece together.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
It'll be tremendously amusing, I have no doubt. Speaking of tremendously amusing, the Sargon VTuber drama. Would you like to fill us in?
So Sargon is on the opinion that all VTubers are men.
Correct.
Which, yeah, like he's saying it as a joke, but the VTube community is gatekeeping really hard. Like Devo found out he was on the short. Sorry, he was on the short end of a receiving stick regarding that.
Short end of a fat stick.
Yeah, with Sargon though, like people know he's joking, so like unironically they want a debate between him and Pippa, but like neither of them wants it. Like Pippa said that she doesn't want to interview boring people.
Well, the thing is, it would be useless. It would be absolutely, utterly useless. Because Sargon would enter into that as if he's actually debating a point, and Pippa would re-at him. Like
the thing with like Pippa actually can do debates. Like the thing is, if they both played Minecraft, it would be a very wholesome stream. Like I don't even think they can debate about anything because like they agree with each other on almost all the issues. Because I spoke with them in private, you know. I'm not saying like agree on policies, but like on principles and stuff. You know, it's like, oh, Sargon is free speech. Oh well, so is Pippa. You know, like it's there's no point of contention that I'm aware of.
I think there would be, because I can explain why I think the two would not be able to communicate effectively. Sargon would speak fag to her.
I think she can speak philosophically as well. She's not that dumb, Arch. Like she surprises
It's not about
people.
being dumb. It's about being academic about it.
She follows people that are she's a content creator. She understands. She would probably just tell to Sargon to speak like a normal person, like unironically. Like she would ask him like, why are you using these words? Like just speak plainly.
Yes, but if she's going to have to request him to dumb it down for her, we already have a problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, look, I done 2 universities, right? Like people who are smart can dumb it down, and you're supposed to use words based on the audience that is there. You're not supposed to use like flowery words when you're talking to an audience that's not technical. Like for example, as a doctor, right? Like you have one set of dialect that you speak with other doctors, and another set of dialect that you speak with the patients.
Sure, but I think the fundamental disagreement here will necessitate a certain degree of philosophical verbiage. For the simple reason that you're going to have to explain why VTubing is a negative, and then you're going to have to defend why it isn't a negative. And the explanation for why it is a negative is going to have to be a moral argument. Whereas defending why it isn't is going to have to be a practical argument.
I don't know. I mean, so like if you actually want to talk about a debate, I don't even know if it would happen. But I was thinking like they could play Minesweeper and have fun, and I think like people would watch that. You would have like over 20,000 live viewers watch that shit.
Probably.
As for like what is VTubing and what isn't, like VTubing is like a big genre. Like sure, you have like the lewd VTubers that do kissy faces in the microphone and shit. But you also have like just normal content creator that want anonymity and they use a virtual avatar, kind of like Sargon did with his mask, right? Like pretty much all the skeptic community used to do it back in the day. Like you'd hide your face behind a picture or a PNG tubing or whatever.
I would argue that there is a big differential between the two. For the simple fact that using a .png, like, because this isn't necessarily an intent thing, this is a results thing. We already know that the relationship between a YouTuber and his audience, what's the term again? Gosh darn it. Parasocial relationship.
Parasocial, yeah.
Yes.
The schizo, yeah.
Is vastly stronger between a YouTuber and his audience than a movie star or a radio star or practically any other entertainer in history.
Yeah, but I can make the argument why that is. Because they're women, right? Like even Schoenhead or that Star Wars girl, or like if you're a female content creator, you're going to get parasocials, right? But now there's VTubers that cultivate that do the girlfriend experience, and I never endorsed any. Like I'm not saying they shouldn't exist, but it's not my cup of tea, and I can understand why someone would make a moral argument against that, right? Because like they don't want like someone's son to take away the mommy's credit card and spend it on that. But then there's VTubers that like Kershaw or like Pippa, which just want to have fun, or like they don't not sell the girlfriend experience. They don't do flirty things. They don't do kissy faces. And with them, it's kind of like the skeptic community used to be, right?
Well,
like they just talk about certain things that they like or certain things that annoys them, and they're trying to be entertaining. They're not trying to change the world.
And that's where the differential comes in, because now we're just talking about the presentation format rather than intent. Because the .png is already far more effective in creating this parasocial relationship, which isn't necessarily an outright negative, but it does have problematic elements of it, shall we say.
I'm curious though,
I have
there's
lost
more parasocials with a VTuber than that Star Wars girls, for example. And that Star Wars girls isn't trying to cultivate
Well, I don't know about
parasocials.
that. She does sell calendars of herself in skimpy clothing.
Is that?
Yes, I would say that is certainly trying.
Yeah,
to
but like
cultivate
I
it,
would
but
think like the parasocial is when you allow people to believe that they have a chance with you if they spend more money or super chats.
No. The parasocial relationship is it's going to be difficult to explain quickly. But it is the feeling of closeness, not necessarily a romantic or anything like that, to an individual that you don't actually know.
I have lost.
Like, you can have a parasocial relationship with a actor. That was what you had back in the day, which was the, oh, I think this person is like this or whatever. You
Oh,
didn't
the
know
boy
them.
bands. That, like the girls that had like Backstreet Boys and shit on their
Kinda, but again,
bedroom door.
it doesn't need to have anything sexual or romantic attached to it whatsoever.
Mm.
But it would be very interesting to see, like you said, what, if any, is the difference in the parasocial relationship between a VTuber and just a female streamer. That would be very interesting.
I mean, like Alinity, for example, or Pokemon, or, you know.
Yes. Because I do feel as if the parasocial relationship with the VTubers seem far stronger. And
Well, like, what are you basing this on? Like, what would you say a relationship is stronger or weaker? Like, if we measure Shy Lily with Alinity, like, what would you consider?
I don't know these people, so I can't really compare like that. But
okay.
look at the vehemency of the community. Like, look at the Deviant situation, for example. That was a hefty backlash to what, in the end, proved to be not that spicy of a take. And he's still getting
but like
flack for this.
you can get that, but you can get that if you attack like some big girl on Twitch. I mean, like last time It's a Gundam went after Pokemon, he had sponsors dropping. He had I think like YouTube started age restricting some of his videos. Suzy Lu is another example. Like when he went when people were talking against her, like they had their entire
lost.
channels taken down. So I don't know. Like, the parasocial relationship, I think, happens if you're an attractive woman or perceived to be an attractive woman online.
Well, okay, we can go with that. But in that case, the VTuber avatar is also intended to automatically cultivate that parasocial relationship to a greater degree, in that you are presenting yourself as an attractive individual, rather than having just a PNG of a broken mask or a suit of armor like the skeptic community. I do think there is a difference.
Well, there's several differences. Like, number one is the novelty, right? Like, oh my god, look, it's like a cat girl. It's got cat ears and
Is it
shit.
that novel, though?
Well, hold on, because there's more. Then it's like stalkers online, and some
Service
girls don't want
guaranteed
their friends and
citizenship.
family to know that they're doing stuff online. And it depends on the woman. Like, some women are uglier than their avatar, but like I have seen a couple of VTubers that they're really hot, especially the corporate ones.
See,
right?
this is
So, like,
exactly what I said. You make the practical argument, and I make the moral one. This is exactly the divide here. Which is why it's interesting.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I haven't looked at
it's
chat
going to be
feedback.
interesting talking with Kershey about it.
Because the thing is, I also am not making a moral condemnation of this, because I don't know enough about it. I do view it...
Isn't Kibbs a VTuber, though?
Yes, he is. And I absolutely condemn him for it as well.
I have lost.
And I mean, hell, well, that's part of it too. Because, for example, Kyle has seen a marked increase in donations after using the VTuber avatar. So again, it seems as if
Service
there is an
guaranteed
increase in the parasocial relationship. Now, again, whether that is good or bad, who the hell knows? I don't think we have enough data about it.
Did you get an increase in donations after I started using my succubus avatar?
In general, actually, I think we have been getting an increase in donations since I brought you on, because we tend to disagree on certain things, which I actually think is very good for the channel. It's weird, but when we had Dev on last time too, and everyone was yelling at each other, that's actually very good. People enjoy a spirited conversation between people who can still not hate each other's fucking guts afterwards, it seems.
The thing with Dev is that I start talking with him and we're going into bad subjects that, you know.
Don't worry, we'll be bringing Dev on again more frequently soon as well. Yes, he was supposed to be here today, but that little piece of shit betrayed me at the last moment too.
I should change my succubus. Like, I actually have one that's a 4-channer. I should use that.
Could just make you into a wobbly pair of tits and see if the donations go up.
No, I think the donations would go up, but then the terms of service would start being levied at you.
See, I'll have to make myself a VTuber avatar, but me, I'll just be a big white monkey. That'll be me. Because
Why don't
I
you
don't
make
know-
yourself a space marine? That would be fucking cool.
God no. First of all, I'd be sued. 2, that's cringe. And 3, It's more personal if I'm a big white monkey, because there's a joke about Norwegians. This is the thing. In the Norwegian, Danish, Swedish relationship, we all have curse words for each other. The curse word for Norwegian is mountain monkey.
Yeah, but you do realize that if YouTube doesn't understand, and they usually don't, if you're tied to a slur, they might give you a community guidelines strike.
Mountain monkey. Is YouTube going to go mountain monkeys a slur? Like, I doubt it.
They usually have like regional moderators, so like there may be someone in Norway that's like very left-leaning and is going to investigate that.
I'll take the risk. That'd be fucking too stupid. Sir, your avatar's a monkey. Yes. What color are you? White. Ban. See, I'm not going to put that past YouTube, but that would be retarded even by YouTube standards.
Well, usually they don't even bother giving you a reason. It's just like, oh, your channel has been terminated for severe violations.
Severe violations.
You can appeal if you want. Oh, wait, you can't even appeal because it's like we deleted the link.
Like, sorry.
Because
Like,
you don't
what
have
did
a
I do?
channel.
We're not going to tell you.
I'm not going to tell you. You know what she did.
You know. Oh, God damn it. But yeah, no, it could be a spirited discussion with Kirika over this too. Let's see. Let's go through the remaining super chats. Black 1917 says, "Hey, large Kryta, Lord and Savior, and hi V. Hello, Black." Brian Walton has been a member for 1 month. Thank you, sir. Says, "Hey, Art and V. Tanya's face. The reason women shouldn't be given a boomerang as a main weapon. Also, Dev lost. Dev did lose.
It did lose, yeah.
Yep. Dev did lose.
I kept telling him, it's like, look, these people just
Heresy's
want to
the
be left the
question.
fuck alone. They're not your
Fire is the
friends. They're not
answer.
your political allies. All right? They've been pushed away from every single entertainment medium, and now they only have VTubing left. And when someone attacks VTubing, they view it as a personal attack. And it's like, oh, I was right. Okay, then imagine like you have like 5 thugs on the corner of the street. And you walk to them and you call them thugs and you drop the N-bomb and you use slurs. Now, even if you're right, as you're getting your ass kicked, don't you think that people watching that would say, why did you do it? Why did you went there? Why did you fuck around? Like, why couldn't you just leave them alone? Just keep walking. Just keep walking and leave them alone. But no.
See, that is actually a genuinely fine argument as well.
Service guaranteed
Because for
citizenship.
most of the people I know that enjoy the virtual thoughts, they simply say it's a form of entertainment. And in this day and age, where entertainment is rare and scarce,
have
and you
lost.
are driven from entertainment source to entertainment source, I can entirely understand that people would be very defensive of the entertainment that they finally do get.
I mean, literally, they're saying that, oh God, like this controversy is going to fill up normies in such and such's chat. And I'm like, yeah, these people do not want popularity. Like, they just want to be left the fuck
Heresy's
alone.
the question. Fire is the answer.
Very possible. Black 1917 says, "There is one writer of Tanya. The loser working on the anime has no power." Good. Scarf the Strange
Service
says, "Barbie
guaranteed
is Big
citizenship.
Red, the movie." Ugh. Black 917 also says, "Go read the exchange between Tanya and Being X. Tanya makes a lot of great points, and Being X has a shit fit about it, deliberately misrepresenting it." Yep. Tanya did nothing wrong.
No, but like when you have, okay, imagine if God is real, right? Like
and
in the
now
Old Testament.
V will make the argument from power.
Yeah, literally, like in the Old Testament, they don't say they literally say they feared God,
Yes,
right?
that's true.
Like even if you disagree with him,
Heresy's the question.
like he has control
Fire is
over
the
you. Like
answer.
after you die, he still gets to control your soul. So at that point, it doesn't matter if you agree or not. Like you're talking about an eldritch horror of supernatural, a supernatural entity that's omnipotent. Why would you want to piss it off?
Well,
Especially when it's being reasonable. Like, it doesn't really ask you much. It's like, oh, go fast and pray and don't do these things. And if you do them, just, ask forgiveness and shit. I mean, I can imagine a lot more crueler entities in fiction than that,
it's the classical argument. If a very
I
large
have
man
lost. shit.
has currently got you cornered in a very narrow street. Do not deny him his reasonable requests.
Yeah, like that's the thing, you know. It's like they're not really that reasonable. Like, it's not even like an evil eldritch entity. That like you can come up in fiction with shit that's far worse. Like, for example, Satan, right? Like the biblical interpretation in some denominations, it's like he's got the pitchfork, and you're in hell and fire, and you're burning, and he keeps poking you with it, right? Like there's no rhyme or reason. There's nothing you can do to get out of the situation, and it's going to last for an eternity, right? Like that is an unreasonable being. Like I can understand why you would be, giving sass or badmouth him, but like with God, it just make no sense.
At least Tanya got away with being given superpowers. Like, yeah. For sassing the Almighty, she did pretty good.
Yeah, literally all she had to do is not be a smartass.
Yeah, but he was literally, born as a smartass, so.
Did I read the Bible? Yes. And again, if you think God is bad in the Bible, I can just make a Dungeons and Dragons roleplay and create a deity far worse than God. It doesn't even take that much imagination.
Scarfy the Strange says,
lost.
Aqua made a better Barbie movie. I believe they did, yes. I remember that one. I don't think I've ever watched it, but yes, there was a movie. Wait, was it about Barbie? No. Yes? No, wasn't.
We are the cartoon heroes. Wow.
No, there was literally a song. It was like, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world or something
I'm
like
a
that.
Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Imagination. Life is your creation. Come on,
Yes,
Barbie. Let's go
that
party.
one.
Yeah.
Unironically, that would have been a better story for the Barbie movie. Yes, a vapid, stupid woman who falls in love with a vapid, stupid guy. There you go. Done deal. Nathan Cassidy says, Barbie could have been like the movie Enchanted, a family comedy with a Disney princess who found herself in the real world. Yep. Again, like that would have worked out perfectly well. Just have her be this incredibly optimistic blonde woman who then teaches everybody else a lesson about being a nice person. Voila. The problem then is you're going to have to make bad people in the current year, and those bad people are probably going to be a lot of progressives.
It may still be a successful movie, and if it's successful, then they did it correctly.
Zeddy Kai says, I got a feeling
Here's the
Barbie is going to
question.
have a second
Fire is the
weekend
answer.
drop-off that makes Hiroshima look like a firecracker. Very possible. Marksman 117B says, Ken's evil plan is to change the Barbie-land constitution to give Kens equal rights. They are legal second-class citizens in the film. The
Really?
disconnect.
Like, is that? Because I haven't seen the film. Is that like legitimately the?
I
the
haven't
story?
seen it either, but now I am going to see it as soon as it gets
That
to
would
my
be
local
hilarious as
Russian
fuck.
sites.
It's like if Ken is literally just like, okay, equal rights, and Barbie is like, that's oppressive
Like,
because
no.
it's called the patriarchy.
God damn you, Ken. Get back in line. God, did you watch the recent Superman thing, incidentally?
No.
It's
I
not
have
very good.
lost.
Like, because it's one of the biggest issues with the recent Superman is that it thinks that you have already developed a relationship with Superman. And in many cases,
Here's
you
the
might
question.
have. In fact,
Fire
if
is
you're
the
watching it
answer.
just as like a fan wank sort of thing, it's not the worst thing ever. But it skips over all of the developing points of Superman. Like, he meets Lois, and they're both immediately in love with each other. Like, Lois is wetter than a average day in September the moment she lays eyes on Clark. And that's not the point. Clark is supposed to chase Lois. Lois is supposed to be the sophisticated, suave, high-class town city girl.
I can disagree with you for one reason. And you made this argument before. Like how many decades of the same shit can you take? I mean, like Superbad, yeah, like that story was told that you just said, was told through so many iterations, and it's just fucking boring at this point. But like if you look at manga, right? Like they keep making new stories. It's not like you have like Dragon Ball over and over. No, you have like My Hero Academia, and you got like Naruto. So it's like different stories. But with Superman, it's just fucking Superman. It's like the same shit. It's like, oh, he's chasing over Lois, and he's hiding his identity, and he's putting on the glasses, and no one fucking knows. And oh, Lois is going and doing a
Service
journal
guaranteed
interview, and no, she
citizenship.
fell down a building, but Superman rescued her. And it's like, how many times can you tell this story until it becomes stale and boring?
Well, but that's the thing. That is the story they're telling. It's still everything that's basic bitch about Superman told again, but now they've just sped up the romance as if they think they'll run out of time,
Oh.
which frankly they will.
Well,
because it's gonna
then
get
the
one
problem
season and
is
nothing
like
else.
the problem isn't the romance. The problem is the story. Just tell something else. You know, like do an isekai with fucking Superman.
Well, you could, but that's been told too. Superman has been isekai'd 17 fucking
Yeah,
times.
but it's been told like 70 fucking times, not 7 billion times. Like
Yeah,
this
but
story
if you're
has
gonna
been.
do it,
Heresy's the question.
if you're gonna do a
Fire
Superman
is the
story,
answer.
you can either do something completely new, which is the other Superman, where Superman has kids, which is alright-ish. I don't like it over much because it's too much child drama in my Superman. But you need to also remain true to the character. Right
Do
now,
Superman in 40k, like just get 40k's rights. You know, like because you're a Hollywood studio, right? You can't do that, and just have Superman isekai into the 40k universe.
they should have done Lois and Clark. That's what they should have done, because Lois and Clark is a story that we don't have today. It is between two equals having a wholesome romantic relationship where both sides are in a part chasing after the other, where neither is the strong female character. Like, Superman humiliates Lois on several occasions in Lois and Clark, and vice versa.
To be honest, Injustice and Brightburn were actually really good. I mean,
Ugh,
evil
Brightburn
Superman
was
is a trope
ass.
now. No, it's not.
Shame on you.
Homelander. Brightburn is fucking. What is wrong with Brightburn? Go on.
Brightburn was dumb.
Why?
Like, okay, so the entire thing is
Alright.
he's some kind of wasp thing that was sent to destroy humanity. Like, that's what the movie hints
To
at.
conquer the planet. Yeah.
Yes, but in that case, he's doing everything wrong. Like, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing because he's doing little stupid trickery bullshit. If that was what he was actually doing, he would
I
just
have
simply go
lost.
crazy and start decapitating world leaders. Because he's
Yeah,
trying
but like
to weaken the planet
you don't
for
know what he
invasion.
does later on. It's just like this is just his childhood, right? Like later on, he might just go around and decapitate world leaders.
Yeah, but in that case, he's already
I have lost.
damaged his cover. Like, it doesn't make sense what he's doing.
Yeah, but he
It's-
doesn't give a shit. Like there's nothing that can be done against him. Like he wasn't going with a
Yeah, but
cover
if
in
nothing
mind.
can be
It's
done against him, then it makes no sense for him to do this stupid low-level shit. He could just decapitate the planet's leadership.
Maybe he will in the sequel.
Yeah, but why doesn't he do that first? Why does he bother
Because
with this
he
small-town
doesn't have the
drama?
powers. Like it takes
Yeah,
a
but now
while
you're
for him to
counter
go-
saying yourself, because on the one hand you're arguing that he's so powerful he doesn't care, and on the
No,
other hand
like,
you're
you're
arguing
not
that he's
watching the
not
same
powerful
movie.
enough.
So in the beginning, when he was a kid, he didn't have powers. He just
Yeah,
gets
but then
the
he was
powers when the
normal.
ship activates.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
he-
like he was No,
Yeah,
no. Listen.
no,
listen.
no. His mindset was normal. Like, he wasn't the psychopath to begin with.
Yes. Like in the beginning, he was normal, and then the ship activates the signal or whatever and gives him powers and makes him psychotic.
Yes, but if he was introduced into the planet specifically to weaken it for an invasion, he would then do that instead of turning into the horror villain that he does?
Well, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief based on the lack of knowledge on how the anatomy of these aliens function. Like maybe in the beginning he is just like they need to reach a certain age until the body can be strong enough to get powers like Deku in My Hero Academia.
But in that case, they would have programmed it to do so. Like, it's a poor excuse for
Like,
making a evil Superman
reason-
thing.
And by the way, like the thing with
Heresy's the
movies,
question.
it's like
Fire
I'm willing
is
to
the
suspend my
answer.
disbelief if it's not central to the main plot in a very direct way, right? Like I don't give a shit how he is or came to be, because the whole thing is more like the relationship between his parents and him, and the relationship between the neighbors and him.
Yes, and that would have been far better represented if they hadn't done the whole "my switch has been flipped."
Nah, it wasn't enough to completely ruin the movie. Other than that, I think it was like really amazing. Like the way the people acted in danger is the way I would expect people to act. It had like some really gruesome scenes as well. I really love like the relationship between him and his Lois. He really traumatized the girl by appearing at her window.
A proper evil Superman would be nice, though, but it needs to be done with a degree of finesse. Like, it needs to be done the Injustice style, where it takes a very long time before he actually becomes evil Superman.
Yeah, but you have like 2 hours to do a movie, so.
Oh, just make it a series or a trilogy, for fuck's sake. If the story has enough legs, it'll bear it. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure Lois and Clark got like 13 seasons. Regardless, Noah Sprague Studio says, I see the nuke as karma for what Japan did to China. Ah, the rape of Nanking. See, in the eyes of the Japanese, the Chinese weren't people. A spicy view at the time. The whole Senate says, Hi Arch, hi Vee, hi chat, hope you're all well. We are. Black 1917 says, as YouTube scrolls, Hi Holtz. And the whole Senate says, Hi Black. No one says, I hereby engage in my parasocial relationship with a Norwegian and a Romanian weirdo. Indeed. The parasocial relationship stuff is fascinating. It is deeply fascinating. And it's going to be one of the main pitfalls of the internet. Ildrid says, Vtubers might be able to have fancy visuals, but they rely far more on their personality to attract viewers. Egos can let their looks substitute a personality. I suppose, but this is a little bit of a chicken and the egg argument. If your personality is strong enough to attract a viewer, why do you need the model? Well, I need the model to attract a viewer. But wasn't your personality strong?
No, that's not it. Like okay, so if you're a hot girl now, it is very difficult to make it big. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the market is super saturated. OnlyFans is filled. Twitch hot top streamers are filled. Right? At the time, being a VTuber gave you a leg up because of the novelty. Right now, even VTubers, like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they're already so everything is oversaturated.
Yeah, but like at the time when VTubers were new, it was like a whole new thing. And not to mention, like, some people want the anonymity, like the stalkers exist, and you also have the fact that maybe some don't want like their friends and family to know what they're doing. And finally, it's also the fact that you can stream without putting makeup, that you don't care about how your hair looks and shit like that,
but still get all of the benefits out of it.
Yeah, like for
again, you're making the practical argument.
No, listen. Kason is hot as fuck. Right? Like the dragon from HoloLive, right? That got fired because of the Taiwan stuff, right?
Yep.
She's hot as fuck. She does stream without her avatar. And they're just as popular, right? So, like, I do believe that having an avatar means you need to have more of a personality than just looks.
I'm sure you need both. But even then, you're so, okay, Kason is attractive. Sure.
As fuck.
Is the avatar more attractive?
It's literally made by her. I would say, like, her real life is more attractive than the avatar. I mean, you know, like, obviously, she's aging, you know, it's like women don't.
So the answer
like,
is no.
like... No, but at the time, like, we're talking 4 years ago, I think, like, her real self was far more, especially the dragon avatar. Like, she is definitely. Do you know how she looks like?
The dragon avatar was a less advanced version.
No. Do you know how she looks like in real life? I mean,
I do. I've Googled it.
Yeah, and
the avatar is obviously superior.
You think that the dragon avatar is better than
no, the current one
in real life? The current one is made to look exactly like she looks in real life.
In the same way that this image of me is made to look exactly like me in real life. See, the entire thing is the avatar is flawless because it can be made flawless. There is no limitations to how perfect you can make an avatar look.
Yeah, but again, obviously, as time passes and she ages, you know, like, beauty is a thing that's coming with youth. But, like, look how she looked when she made the avatar.
And beauty is also subjective. But the point is still that the point of an attractive avatar is to make yourself into an attractive character. Like, that is not by coincidence. Like, you say anonymity. Yeah, but they could just be a giant fat frog in that case. They could just be a pixelated image or a QR code.
That's a gorilla. There is one that's a gorilla, actually.
I'm sure there is. And yet the majority of them are... cute girls?
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
I want to go to sleep and it's 3 a.m. So I'll just leave it for next week when Kirsche is here.
Again, I think the reason why it's being done is very obvious. And again, I'm not even passing moral judgment. I am simply pointing out that the rationale behind it is hardly difficult to discern. Adriel Hosseini says, my whole friend and family group are blind Democrats. It's sad that they still think the wage gap is real and all Republicans are racist. Feels bad, man. I can imagine. And he says, I like that you argue. Arch is absolutely right that Sargon, and Dev for that matter, make moral philosophical claims. It's why Dev always has to fight his chat.
Fire is the
Other than
answer.
that, he's wrong. Well, that too is the fact that Dev is also wrong in a lot of his moral claims as well. Moxman117B says the YouTube regional mods are only in 3 countries. Oh, good.
Service guarantee.
Presumably the Middle
citizenship.
East. C. Thomas, the Beeps Peasant, says, Arch, sir, where is my fire support? That is a good question. Out to lunch. Vrocali says, I assume you're a fan of the Italian song Fascetta Nera. Is that the one where they sing about bringing themselves home a brown girl? Because if it is, yes. That is a hilarious song.
Well,
The Italians during World War II made a song about how they were going to go to Africa and bring themselves a brown waifu back home.
Mm.
Which,
so
to
they
be
wouldn't
fair,
keep her there. Like they would bring her back to it.
I think so. I can endorse this. The Toast
So they
Boy
wanted
says,
to diversify Italy.
what book is a good place to start as a 40k virgin? The Cypher's Kane series. No doubt about it. The Cypher's Kane series is by far the best introductionary entrance to 40k, in my opinion. Because it's filled with humor, and it gives you a decent and slow burn introduction to the universe. Scott the Celt says, Arch, where can one get a VTuber avatar design?
Heresy's the
Literally
question.
just
Fire is
Twitter
the
search
answer.
VTuber avatar design, and you will find about 7,000 people offering that service. There are a lot of people offering that service. I was looking for an animator for Chibis, for example, and most of the people were just like, I make VTuber avatars. Like, yes, but do you make Chibis? No. It has become very popular. I've even seen people give away VTuber avatar designs because they've kind of grown. Well, they've overflooded the market to the point where there's now superfluous designs that are just kind of shoveled out there. It is interesting. It became very popular very quickly, and now it is simply just another thing that exists in the universe. Boog says, V assigning morality to an entity beyond it.
Oh, cut me with the crap. I guess like if you're really that powerful, yeah, like literally whatever you say is moral. Like who's going to challenge you? So.
Well, yes,
But like we can.
that is the argument you make, though. Like, God is omnipotent. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
God makes up morality.
But like you can still judge that what he is doing is immoral if you want.
yeah, and then
right.
God mind wipes you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I actually thought, like, what is morality? And it usually boils down to consent, right? Like, if you're willing to do something, then it's moral.
I would disagree
But it's not.
with that.
There are exceptions to it. No, there
There
are
are
exceptions
many
to it,
exceptions
but like
to that.
but overwhelmingly, it's the rule. I think.
I don't know about that.
Mm.
I think morality is more complex and societal. It's impossible to boil down to a single attribute because
Basically,
it really
like, don't do
depends
to
on what
other-
society agrees upon.
It's like don't do to someone else what you wouldn't like done to yourself. I think.
That is a decent guideline, but even then there are serious discrepancies in it.
Mm. Like, what if you're a fucked up person who likes horn and the shit?
That too. And also, of course, but I think I can get away with it without it being done to me.
No. That's not the point. The point is like don't do unto others what you wouldn't want to be done to you is the moral, right? So like if you're doing something like that to get away, blah blah blah, you know you're doing something immoral, but you're not going to get punished.
No,
So-
I would say people would absolutely disagree with that. That's moral. Like, I think there are plenty of people out there who would happily trick and screw people over, and would be more that they would be proud of it. Even they would
but, like,
still cry when it happens to them.
Okay, Arch. So, if the guiding morality, it's like you separate what's moral and what's not based on doing things, not doing things that you wouldn't like done to yourself onto others, right? Like, that is the golden principle. Now, if you do like if you don't like being conned and you're conning another person because you think you're not going to get caught, you're doing something that you know is immoral, but you're doing it because you're not going to get caught. Like, people can do immoral things in order to gain something. Right?
Yes, but I disagree that they will then believe that that is still an immoral thing. I think they would
I don't
just
care if they
justify
believe
it.
or not.
No, but it is because then you are assigning morality
but
to
like
them.
the North Star, like the North Star, the moral compass is don't do unto others what you wouldn't want to be done to yourself. Like, that is the North Star, right?
But that is you coming up with the
Okay,
morality and then going, this is the morality.
Unless someone likes getting conned, right? Like, if a person genuinely loves being conned and then he cons others, then you'd be like, yeah, okay, like, look, this person is fucked up.
Yes, and I get your point, but that is still
like,
you
there aren't
making
that
an
many people like
arbitrary
that.
decision. Like, this is morality. If you violate that, it is immoral. I broke V again. It happens. Oh, Breezy says, Arch, I'm on the fence about Rule the Waves 3. Would you recommend it over Ultimate Animal Dreadnoughts? That depends. If you're looking for battles, cool little battles, just like ships going boom boom against each other, then Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts is the superior option because it does that part way better. If you are into playing a long-term campaign and actually running a navy, then Rule the Waves is vastly superior. That is the primary distinction. Ultimate Dreadnoughts have far better visuals, but Rule the Waves 3 is far deeper. And it also depends on how far you want to go, because remember, Dreadnoughts does not have aircraft, and it doesn't have submarines, and it doesn't have missiles. Whilst Rule the Waves, of course, have all of those. Midwest Finest says, the world needs a V karaoke stream.
No,
Well, V.
already said.
V, how much? Okay, how much would you need to be paid to do a karaoke stream?
No, I can't. It's literally something outside of my ability. It's like asking someone to fly or turn back time. No, I just cannot do karaoke. So, no. I would rather do a DSP stream masturbation than do a karaoke.
But Holstein says, why do you want to send children for the mines when we have perfectly good progressives? Mining accidents happen all the time, and suffocating underground sounds like a reasonably light sentence. Ooh, Boog says, how many times can you tell an isekai, V?
I don't understand, like, the problem with telling isekai. I genuinely do not understand the problem with people have with it. It's just, like, a way to tell a story without having, like, 50 pages of exposition before. Right? It's the same shit like the telenovelas Amnesia type of thing. It's like the world already exists, and you teleport the person in the middle of the action. That's what the isekai is.
Because most isekais have the same core tale.
Why don't people go with the same shit with, like, oh, how many magic stories or how many stories in space are you going to say? Oh, another story about spaceships. It's just like a way to tell a story.
Yeah, but
like,
unironically, I think there are far fewer stories about spaceships than there are about isekais.
I don't think so. No, there's no fucking way.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't believe you. There is no way. Like, we had isekais for, like, what? Like, the last 10... okay, fine, 20
sure,
years.
overall,
but
like, that just makes isekais the spaceship show of today.
And what's wrong with that? I like, fine, if someone doesn't like it, it's not for you.
Well, that's true. But we have reached the point where we now have an isekai about being a vending machine.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
I haven't read it.
That's pretty far into the isekai right there.
The thing is, like, are there Western isekais, though?
We used to make Western isekais.
I guess, like, a night at Arthur's court counts.
Yeah. We
some
also
people
had
count Harry Potter as an isekai.
We actually had quite a few isekais. Oh God, what was the name of it?
Harry Potter.
Like fucking Matrix is a bit of an isekai. Narnia. Narnia is the OG isekai.
It's Matrix and it's like fuck off.
Yeah.
No, because it's already
The one
it's
with the
like
giant, fat, fluffy sausage dog. That was an isekai. Peter Pan.
the
Alice
noodle
in
dragon.
Wonderland. The Never-Ending Story. That was the name of the thing with the giant sausage dog.
Yeah, like is anyone going to actually make the argument that Neverending Story is bad and shit because it's an isekai?
No, but again, like that was when isekais were still like novel, whereas now everything's an isekai. I think Boog's argument is that there is too much isekai, not that isekai is in and of itself inherently bad.
Yeah, I disagree with that thing. Because like you can have like 5 isekais that are completely different than one another.
Question mark. Lord Comes to Spartan says, far as I've heard, the way Barbie ends with Barbie saying Kens cannot have equality until we all have equality in the matriarchal Barbie world. Ah, yes, the
Service
progressive
guarantees
definition of
citizenship.
equality. The Holson it says, V, nothing in 40k can hold a penciled Superman. That's true as well.
I don't know, like how does he react to mind-altering shit?
I think he ignores it most of the time.
How
Like,
does he react to...
He's susceptible to magic.
Yeah.
But
Like
even then, he could just move at the light of speed and pluck their brains out.
Yeah, but there's psychers that influence the entire galaxy. And the thing with Superman, right? Like, yeah, sure, he can punch stuff, but can he solve planetary disputes?
If he gets violent enough.
Yeah, okay, and what happens when he leaves the planet?
In fact, I believe they made this point
Service
in
guarantees
Communist
citizenship.
Superman. And I was like, how does he make world peace? Well, he just threatens everybody with destruction if they don't
Yeah,
stop.
but like the thing is like, what happens when he leaves the planet?
Well, then he does whatever the Night Haunter did.
Yeah, exactly, right? So you can have a very interesting story with Superman in 40k.
I think he would simply just moral faggot everything.
But even then, right? Like, you have the Tyranids coming, and he was like, oh, well, we need to stop oppressing and putting people in the factories. And it's like, right, but like, if you don't build the weapons...
Considering how he reacted to certain enemies in his world, I think his response might have been a pinch more violent against Tyranids. I have seen Superman tear fucking aliens apart with his bare hands.
Service
Sure, but
guarantees
like, how
citizenship.
many Tyranids can he kill? Because there's trillions of them.
Quite a lot. Like, you gotta remember, when Superman actually does his Superman shit, he is beyond OP.
Do you think like any Tyranids could stand up to him?
No. Not for a millionth of a millisecond. Bearing in mind, again, the thing with Superman is only as powerful as the story allows him to be. Like, if you go Superman's actual logical limits, he would wipe out a hive fleet in the time it takes you to fart.
Yeah, but like, okay, fine. What about like Chaos Gods?
He'd have to enter the warp, but that wouldn't work because that is his realm, or the warp god's realm.
Yeah, like, is he prone to warp corruption?
Probably, possibly. Like, it's magic after all. But then again, he's also thrown off multiple mind-melding corruption things through sheer bullshit willpower and past, so yeah.
I think you can make an interesting story in 40k with Superman.
I think you can make an interesting isekai with Superman, but he would still be dumb and overused.
You think Goku would actually be cooler?
No, because Goku's weaker.
No, but like he would want to fight. Like he doesn't care about, you know, surviving. He just wants to know who's the strongest in 40k and fight him.
Marksman of 117 Being says, how V argues about Superman is how the progressives argue and justify their so-called adaptation of IPs that fail. Or to put it simply, don't blame a cheeseburger for not being a pizza.
Like, here's the thing, right? I hate Superman, and I would never want to write Superman. Now, if I would actually get the job, you know, like DC goes, like, V, write Superman. I would just fucking take the books, I would start reading Superman, and then I would write the most accurate 2 IP Superman that I could possibly write. Why? Because I would be getting paid at that point.
Because that is the job.
Yeah, Yeah, and if people go like, "Oh, well, we want to see how Lois Lane is," well, fine. Okay, let's watch the first one. I believe a man can fly.
Service
All right, let's
guarantees
watch that. What was
citizenship.
the relationship with him and Lois? Okay, great. Now
The
let's
Real
put that in the
Hallucinator
screen.
says, V, you're missing the point. Sargon is objecting because he finds them to be the equivalent of sinful. All your practical arguments are irrelevant. A fine rebuttal, sir.
But like a lot of people will find Sargon to be sinful. No, I don't think so. I don't think Sargon cares about VTubers, to be honest. Like, this is my take after knowing the man and talking to him. I feel like he doesn't view them as bad or good. It's just like something that he doesn't care about.
James Spinner says, from a certain point of view, VTubers are just girls playing dress-up, the same way that girls has always played. They just get to do it as adults. Yeah, you can make that argument as well. The fakeness of femininity. Unironically, that is an argument to be made, indeed. As of course, what purpose does makeup serve?
War paint.
You
know, if I was a
says
woman,
morality is
if-
deontological, simple as.
Arch, if I was a woman, I would take my period blood, smear it over my face, and call it war paint.
Already done.
Who?
Oh, they've made entire paintings of this shit, V.
God damn it.
Let's see here. There you go. This is a picture of Donald Trump painted out of period blood.
No. It would have to be on the. Can you read the next super chat?
The next one, morality is deontological. Atoman says Old Dog will betray you in COH Arch. I'm sure of it. Yes, he will. But that's because he's Old Dog. I expect it of the man. The woman. Let's call him that. Call him what he is. Boog says,
Here's
don't
the
do
question.
unto others
Fire
that
is
you
the
wouldn't
answer.
want done to you. But it wasn't done to me, says a certain racial youth, whose name rhymes with Shaquan.
But that's not what the implication. The implication is like what you're. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
No,
The
never mind. Hold on.
implication is V has
I know,
determined
I know.
morality.
I know. Yeah, but that's the whole point. Like, someone asked me what is moral, and I just gave them the definition. Like, if you do something to someone
See.
else that you wouldn't like done to yourself, you're being an immoral twat. I don't understand where is the confusion.
At
Like,
that
it's a
point,
very.
You
Yes,
could just
go
give
on.
the chat answer and like, I am morality.
But like, literally, you asked me
Yeah.
what is moral and what isn't,
and
and
you
I
should
gave
have
you the
answered.
definition.
You should have answered, I am morality.
No, because that would mean that I can change it as I will. It's like I
Yes.
gave you a fixed. I don't want to change it. It's a fixed
Okay.
definition. It's like you can use it to judge my morality.
Well, chat, I am morality. Japanese demon lord Alba
But
Lucifer
that is
says...
shit. No, that's a bad. No,
It is
I
a
will tell you
good
why,
one.
right?
Okay,
Because you
tell me why.
can't. No, like, listen. You can't judge every single person on earth, right? And like some person
Give
might
me
do
enough
something.
time.
No, but even then, right? Like, if I want to do something, like let's say I want to jerk off to furry porn, I don't know
Mhm.
what your stance is on that, right?
I
Because you
consider
are
that to be
morality.
immoral.
I have
All right,
lost.
fine, but like, if I don't get the ability to talk to you, I wouldn't know if doing it is moral or not.
Yeah, but I can
So-
still
so-
judge you. I don't care about
No,
your
you
morality.
can't. Like, you can judge me, but you can't get judge every single person on earth.
Of course
So
I
like, there
can.
will be people.
I can make
can't.
sweeping moral judgments.
You can make sweeping moral judgment, but like with everything.
Yes.
Like, my definition was accurate, and it can be applied to everyone, and everyone knows if they're being moral or not by applying the
No,
fucking
because
definition.
some people will disagree because you've still made an arbitrary moral judgment. In which case, isn't it
Yes,
better
like,
to just be like, yes,
no,
I am
listen,
morality?
No, but like when you say I am morality,
Yes.
it's not, like some people do not know what is moral and what isn't.
Well, ask me. I'll tell you.
Well, okay, if someone wants to fuck their wife in the ass and can't ask you, right, because of
Yeah,
technological
that's a moral.
limitations,
That's a moral good. Yes.
yeah, but like, how would they know if they don't talk to you?
Well, I don't care if they know. Maybe they don't care if they know.
Oh my god.
But
Anyway,
it
keep
is a
reading.
moral good to fuck your wife in the ass. Simple, really. Japanese demon lord Aba Lucifer says, I'm surprised you've never played the Konosuba. It's a trap clip yet. Trap clip yet? I haven't played it. I do hear that they have made a little game thing out of it, but
Heresy's the question.
meh.
Fire
I
is
did watch the
answer.
didn't know
anime.
it.
Like, season 1 was good, season 2 was season 3 was getting old now. The Megumin season was cute because it had a Yun in it, but meh. The joke has gotten a bit stale in the terms of Konosuba. Mark99 says, yep, Art is right. Most isekai these days are usually loser dies and becomes god in a different world with a harem. Yes. And see, again, I don't mind that setting at all. It's a good old-fashioned power trip. You know, you jerk off to it and like, I'm the boss. I have a harem. Good. Wonderful. Go ahead. But after 17 times,
Heresy's the question.
PP getting
Fire
tired
is the
now.
answer.
PP need variety.
I disagree. If we can have Batman for 80 fucking years, we can have isekais.
I don't know about that. At least Batman has changed up more. And ironically, Batman probably has changed up more than isekais. Scarfy the Strange says, Labyrinth, Neverending Story, Wizard of Oz, Phantom Tollbooth, any more Western isekai? Yeah, there's actually quite a few. Again, Narnia. The Real Hallucinator says, V, Superman would just slaughter every sentient being, therefore nullifying the warp. I'd be a little bit mean of Superman, but still. Man of Culture says, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. There's been plenty of otherworld stories that qualify as isekai way before Japan started making these stories. Yep, that's true. Excuse me. The dark story behind Alice in Wonderland, incidentally, Google it. It's a hoot. It's a hoot. Marksman of 117B says, YouTube mod regions are US, Singapore, and Pakistan. Okay. Well, so... I was right about the Middle East, at least.
You were.
Mark99 says, I love Goku, but I think he'd become a champion of corn, being used as an intergalactic attack dog sent after strong targets till either he or the target is dead. Sounds plausible.
Yeah.
Obdulio says, He-Man was prepared for 2 seasons from the get-go. They just said, got a second season for marketing. A lot of animated shows on streaming are commissioned with more than 1 season. That's a good point as well, yeah. Black's 1917 goes on a tangent. I work at Walmart, and none of those dolls are on our shelves. It's all the Barbie you would expect to see. Yep. The Japanese civilians were prepared to fight to the end. We knew it. We commissioned so many Purple Hearts that we didn't need to make more till the war on terror. That's including all the casualties in Vietnam. That is true, too.
Oof. I didn't know that.
They still have 120,000 to spare, incidentally.
Where do they keep them?
In a box somewhere, I would imagine.
Mm.
Black917 says, we give more months since you came on because we have someone to argue against and yell at. Hell, I care not from whence the dollars flow so long as they flow. and yes, Black, I am checking Streamlabs. I was forgetting about it, but I did remember it before I was done. He also says, being X was made that humanity as a whole was ceasing to believe in God. It was mad, yes. Tiny pointed out why that was. The society of plenty had no need of him, and the desperate still believed. Being X took its frustration out on Tanya instead of listening. Being X was in the wrong. Tanya did nothing wrong. Japanese demon lord Eder Lucifer says, jobless reincarnation is the anti-isekai. Starts out really weird, but turns into Japanese Tolkien. Mushoku Tensei is one of relatively few isekais I still read right now, because it is pretty damn good. Another one I would recommend is Striving for the Luxury Liner in Another World. Because V is right, if you do something completely off the wall crazy with isekai, it can still be refreshing. And this one is, because the entire concept is Tard dies, goes to a different world, and his superpower is he can summon boats. That's retarded, but it works. And then he builds himself a harem of anime girls, of course. You know, that part's still the same. But the fact that it's all maritime adds in enough freshness for me to be like, okay, that works. There's another one. Right, okay, this is where we weed out the real degenerates amongst you all. Does anyone here know what, or more correctly, who Asanagi, the hentai artist, is?
No idea.
Oh, you don't know Asanagi, do you? Well, he is a man that has a very spicy take on women, shall we say. He made another pretty good isekai, where a dude who still likes women gets transported to a world filled with matriarchy, where all the women are in charge, and it's a reversed morality world. So the women are hitting on men, and men are the objects of sexual desire. And so he's constantly being hit on by really hot women, and he has to hold himself back, which is funny as shit. And it's drawn by a hentai artist who usually draws very spicy depictions of women. But yes, isekais, when done in a completely different way, can still be cool. It is true. By the way, isekai, feel free to sponsor me. You know, I'm willing to shell your content, so long as you're funny. I continue to dream about an Azur Lane sponsorship, V, but I've never got one. Makes me very sad.
You did get Raid Shadow Legends, so there's that.
It is, but it's like it's not the same. I want big titty battleship waifus. Black 1917 says Tanya's whole point was that Being X needed to update his business model, as he put it, if he wanted more believers. Being X's response to this was to turn the grown man into a little girl in a world that he plunged into war. Correct. He was being a bit of a douchebag about it. And he says, to make matters worse, the person that truly believes that has Being X's full blessing and the power that comes with it is the biggest case for atheism that world has ever seen. Mary Sue. It's a good usage of the name, if nothing else. Okay, we are through everything. It is V's bedtime. Thank you very much for hanging out with me another week, V.
My wife is going to be very displeased, but yes.
Your wife will be disappointed, but that is not of my concern. Anyways, I'll begin wrapping stuff up there. Let's see if anyone is streaming so we can raid them. Who can we raid today? Let's see. We've got Dev. Kyle is still playing Pikmin. You know what, Kyle? You don't deserve a raid today. You're still playing fucking Pikmin, you little piece of shit. We're gonna raid Dev today because I do owe Dev. Meanwhile, does Kyle raid me? No. In fact, he even told me that he doesn't. So we shall send Kyle onto the garbage heap, and we shall embrace Canadianism, at least for today. Right. Until next time, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching and for your super generous donations, and hopefully we will be here again next week. Have a good day.